January 10th. 11:47 p.m. Jordan's apartment reeked. Empty Monster cans littered his desk. Week-old pizza festered in its box. And his sheets were turning color. None of it mattered. He lay in that musty bed, phone in left hand, right hand stroking himself slowly. Calypso's voice poured through his earbuds, low and sultry. There you go, baby. Keep going for mommy. This personalized video cost $300 on top of $3,000 for tomorrow's meetup. More than most people's rent. Blown on a girl who didn't know his face. On screen, Calypso pressed a dildo to her lips. Face blurred, but he could see the blue streak in her hair, her throat, those lush pink lips parting around the silicone with a wet sound. M&H. Just like that. Her tongue dragged up the side. Ah, you feel so good. Come on, keep going. Jordan's hand moved faster. His phone hand shook. Eyes closed. The memory he'd paid $300 to forget surfaced. Sunset Love Hotel parking lot. Christmas Day. Breath visible in the cold air. Hands shaking. Not from the cold. Eliza Hartwell, his girlfriend, in a red dress. Cameron Mitchell's hand on her back. He's just some guy from math class. That's what she told Cameron. We're dating. I just bought you that Prada bag. He actually said that out loud in front of a guy who could bench press him. Cameron laughed like Jordan was a harmless baby. Then kissed Eliza right there, holding her jaw in one hand, her ass in the other. Eliza made a sound Jordan had never heard in 3 months of dating. Cam. That sound mixed with Calypso's voice now. Ah, you're doing so well. Come for me. Jordan's hand moved faster, past the point of no return. Cameron pulled back, thumb wiping Eliza's lip, looked at Jordan and smirked. Your girlfriend tastes amazing. Thanks for paying for our room tonight. Jordan looked to Eliza for explanation. Hoped this was a prank. But her eyes held no guilt, no apology. Jordan, we were never dating and I'm done pretending. Lose my number. She turned back to Cameron. They walked toward the hotel lobby. Jordan stood in that parking lot for 20 minutes. Good boy. Keep going for mommy. That's it. Ha. Calypso moaned through the earbud. On screen, dildo fully in her mouth, head tilted back. Come for me. Jordan came. His body jerked, phone dropping to the floor. The video kept playing, 3 minutes of aftercare included. The room was quiet except for her voice saying how proud she was of him. Jordan stared at the mess on his hand. The cracked screen, the pizza box, the unopened mail, the textbooks with unbroken spines. What? The actual. He didn't finish. Shit, he was crying. Rock bottom. 19 years old. Crying after paying a stranger to talk him through jerking off while thinking about a girl who treated him like gum on a shoe. He washed his hands, stood before the bathroom mirror. The reflection looked exactly how he felt. Bad dye job growing out in patches. Dark circles from too many late nights. A face that would apologize first. His phone buzzed. He expected nothing. Maybe an Uber Eats code or Discord notification. It was his mom. Susan McKnight. 11:52 p.m. Jordan, honey, I know things have been hard. I know Dad's been tough about the allowance, but it's because he believes in you. He wouldn't push if he didn't think you could handle more. He sees something in you that you haven't seen yet. We both do. We know you're meant for great things. We love you so much. Get some sleep. Jordan read it twice. His dad had cut his allowance 2 days ago. Refused to fund his son, making himself smaller. Jordan had been pissed. When he complained to Kyle hit him with, I told you so. Jordan hadn't responded. But now, after this moment, he realized he was wrong. His parents had built their business from nothing to send him to a school with tuition higher than some country's GDP. And he'd blown it all on a girl who called him some guy from math class. And thousands more on an OnlyFans model who didn't know his name. Cameron might be an asshole and Eliza might be a bitch, but Jordan's actions put him here. A footnote in their story. Unless he stopped being this pitiful version of himself. His mom said he was meant for greatness. Jordan looked around at the monster graveyard, the pizza box, The unopened mail, the pristine textbooks. Okay. Then louder, okay. Time to take ownership. Make his parents proud. Make Cameron and Eliza regret Christmas. His phone screen lit up. Not a text notification. A golden white glow and what looked like a command panel. Host found true calling. Initializing system. What? Scanning host profile. Goals detected. Financial independence. Self-improvement. Social ascension. Romantic progression. Revenge arc. Noted. Finding optimal system for host goals. System found. Calibrating to host. A white loading bar appeared. Filling with gold. 1%. 4%. 11%. This is a glitch, he said. 19%. The numbers climbed through the 20s, slowed at mid-30s, jumped again. The phone warmed. 57%. 74%. 94%. 99%. The screen went white, then came back. Same phone, same crack, same Red Bull stain, but a new interface, soft gradient with gold trim and a logo resolving into focus. A heart with an infinity symbol inside. Below it, welcome, Jordan McKnight. Infinite cashback system. Active. Holy shit, I have a system. Like those web novels Leo sent at 2 a.m. about losers getting hit by trucks and waking up with floating menus. Wait. Am I dead? He looked out his window. Normal scenery. His mess still here. The system wouldn't bring his baggage, right? The screen returned to normal with a new app. White heart on gold background. Infinity sign in the middle. Infinite cashback system. Does infinite really mean infinite? Only one way to find out. Jordan pressed the heart. It dissolved into shimmering lights. A prompt appeared. Verify user identity. Face ID required. He held up the phone. The circle turned green. Identity confirmed. Jordan McKnight. Age, 18. Status, active user. Welcome to your new life. The interface expanded into sections. Heart with ribbon. Cashback system. Active connections. 2 grade slots. Empty slot. Lock icon on the second. Account summary. Balance. $247. Quest tickets. 0 ticket. Active quests 0. View transactions. Quests. Gotcha. How did it know my balance? He tapped View transactions. A new window appeared. System guide. How it works. The infinite cashback system. Your path to wealth is paved with romance. Core mechanic. Spend money on registered women. Receive cashback based on their attraction level. Formula. Rebate percentage equals attraction level divided by 10 times 20%. Example. At 50% attraction, you receive 100% cashback. Break even. At 75% attraction, you receive 150% cashback. Profit. Slots. You have 2 starting slots. Once a woman is registered, the slot is permanent. Choose wisely. Registration. Visual contact plus conscious intent required. You have got to be fucking kidding me. He had to spend money on women to make money back. Based on how much they liked him. The cruelest joke. He just spent months doing exactly that on a woman who didn't give 2 shits. Eliza had treated him like an ATM, then called him a nobody on Christmas. And now the universe was saying the investment wasn't the problem, just the wrong choice. Jordan reread the formula. At 10% attraction, 20 cents back per dollar. 20% discount, but higher tiers. At 50% attraction, you break even. At 75% attraction, you profit 50%. At 100% attraction, you double every dollar. 100% attraction? Spend 100, get 200 back. Spend 1,000, get 2,000. Infinite fucking cashback. The system wasn't capping it, just made him put in the effort. All Jordan needs to do is simply find women who like him, spend money on them, and get back double rewards. Low-key, it sounds like Jordan is becoming a sugar daddy. But a sugar daddy who made money by spending money sounded a hell of a lot better than sitting in this musty-ass apartment eating lukewarm pizza gooning to Calypso. Jordan tapped the main screen and looked at the main screen. So he had 2 slots immediately available, but once he chose a woman to fill that slot, there were no takebacks. He couldn't swap them out for someone with better stats even if he wanted to. Wait, where are his stats? In every web novel Leo had forced him to read, the system always came with some sort of stat screen. Strength, agility, intelligence, charisma, luck. This was so the protagonist should be able to level up by doing push-ups or studying or getting into fights or whatever the plot required. This system has jack shit. Jordan scrolled through the interface. There had to be more to this system than that, right? He found the gotcha button and tapped it. A new window appeared. Slot machine gotcha system. Spend quest tickets to unlock rewards. Bronze gotcha, 10 tickets. Silver gotcha, 50 tickets. Gold gotcha, 100 tickets. Platinum gotcha, 250 tickets. Milestone rewards only. Insufficient tickets. 0 out of 10. Jordan backed out and tapped the quests button. The screen changed again. Quest log. Active quests. 2 items appeared. One was grayed out with a timer next to it. The other was glowing faintly gold. Jordan tapped the gold one first. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. System note. Initial parameters adjusted to prevent user mortality. Objectives. E. Physical. Log 90 minutes of physical activity. E. Hygiene level 1. Shower using actual soap. E. Hygiene level 2. Brush teeth for a full 2 minutes. Floss. E. Grooming. Apply basic skincare, Washington moisturize. Sunscreen. E. Social. Speak to 3 different beauties for 2 minutes each. Requirement. Maintain eye contact. Do not apologize for existing. Do not offer to buy them anything. Warning. Restriction active. Axe body spray is permanently banned. Use of this chemical weapon will result in immediate quest failure and a -2% attraction penalty with all registered targets. Rewards. Full stamina recovery. 3 quest tickets, admission tickets. 3 tickets per day. 10 tickets for a bronze pull. That meant he could do a gotcha every 3 or 4 days if he kept up with the daily quest. So there is the classic grind for this system. All Jordan had to do was do his dailies, save his tickets, and finally go gambling. Jordan wasn't a total idiot. He knew the real rewards were with the gold and platinum pulls, which meant he would be grinding dailies for weeks before he got anything good. He backed out and looked at the second quest. Tutorial quest, Ground Zero. Environmental purge. Deep clean the apartment. Bag all trash. Remove the biological anomaly under the bed. Jordan spared a glance at the wasteland of pizza boxes, Monster Energy cans, and the absorbent amount of clothes thrown all over the bed. He wouldn't be surprised if there was some unknown fungus growing under his bed. Textile decontamination. Wash all clothes. Wash the bed sheets. System note. 3 months is a crime against hygiene. Damn, had it rally been 3 months? Damage control, physical visit a licensed salon. Eradicate the fried CVS box dye disaster. Revert to natural dirty blonde or acquire a cut suitable for a human male. No flow be allowed. Ah, the dye job disaster. He decided to get it after Eliza mentioned how hot some influencer guy looked and he had that hair color. Too bad it made Jordan look like he lost a battle with a bottle of Clairol. Damage control. Social call David McKnight. Father. Apologize for recent behavior. State your commitment to change. Requirement. Do not ask him for money. Speak clearly. Mean it. Just had to go directly for the jugular. Huh? The system was going to make him apologize to his dad and mean it. Jordan had been dodging his dad's calls after getting notified of his allowance being cut. The system knew about Jordan spending Christmas pining over some girl instead of spending quality time with family. We know you're meant for great things. Talk is cheap, results is what matters. Jordan looked at the rewards section. Rewards. 10 quest tickets, admission tickets. $1,500 system sign-on bonus. Deposited to secure system account. Okay, 10 tickets would be enough for a bronze pull and a free $1,500 sign-on bonus? That would make it so he can get this cashback started without having to get a part-time job to sustain operations. But the penalty was listed below in red text. Failure penalty. Immediate system uninstallation. Permanent reversion to Tier 4 Simp status. Tier 4 Simp status. Jordan didn't need the system to explain what that meant. He was living it. He'd been living it for months. So the system was making Jordan put his money where his mouth is. Either clean up his life, fix his mistakes and call his dad to apologize, or the system will deem him unworthy and he will just regress to being that same loser that got dumped on Christmas. Time limit. Midnight. 24 hours. Jordan took a deep breath and looked at the gargantuan task he needed to complete to start rebuilding his life back from square one. Ground Zero was the most fitting quest title this could be. He did hit rock bottom, and at zero is where you start your climb if you truly want to get out of the hole. Jordan pressed accept. The screen flashed gold. Quest accepted. Ground Zero. Timer started. 23 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. ===/N. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. After accepting the quest, Jordan stood in the middle of his apartment and turned on the lights to show the damage in high definition. The pizza box on the table had fossilized to the point that he could see the grease stains through the cardboard, leaving dark brown spots on the IKEA furniture underneath. 3 half-filled monster cans sat next to it in a little aluminum triangles, and several more were scattered around the floor leading towards his bedroom upstairs. His favorite hoodie he wore to confront Eliza during Christmas was squished in between the couch cushions. There was a damp spot on one of the cushions that could be anything from soup to Pepsi. The kitchen was the only haven of this apartment, gleaming with the shine of stainless steel appliances that have never been used once. To think he begged his dad for this apartment specifically for these appliances, forcing him to pay $400 more per month for an upgraded unit. His father really spared no expense. If only Jordan used the microwave more than 5 times or used the stove once. The dishwasher was left unused because Jordan stuck to plastic silverware, plastic cups, and paper plates. The evidence of this was visible in the overflowing trash can stack together like the world's saddest game of Jenga. The smell came next. It is sad and a little fascinating how the human body can be in a smell for so long they stop noticing how rank it is. Stale air mixing with old food and that sour tang of unwashed fabric. His apartment smelled like a football locker room after a hot summer practice session. And upstairs is where the bed waited, where there were sheets he could not remember the last time they were changed. A pillowcase with stains that form an outline of his face from all of the oil and dead skin. Then there was the biological anomaly the system made sure to call out. 24 hours to fix all of it. Jordan's legs felt extra heavy as he headed up the stairs to the loft. The timer on his phone now read 23 hours and 50 minutes. Maybe I should get some sleep and start in the morning. I should be able to get all of this done after a nice rest. It made sense. I'm not going to start a boss fight when I'm not at my max. When Jordan finally made it up the stairs, he saw his bed look the exact same as it did when he got out of it 20 minutes ago. With the rumpled sheets, flat pillow, and that signature Jordan-shaped depression in the middle of the bed. When Jordan sat down on the edge, the mattress sagged under his weight and the springs made a slight sound. All Jordan needed was a few hours of sleep. Maybe wake up at around 6 or 7 a.m. and get after the quest. It's not like the trash was going to grow legs and walk away, and he wouldn't be able to fix his hair anyways until a salon opens up tomorrow morning. Jordan lay back in his bed. The pillow fit his shed perfectly and the sheets smelt like him. He closed his eyes. Just a little bit of rest and then the beginning of his upgrade can start. You think throwing money at your problems is helping? It's making you smaller. Cameron's laugh in the parking lot. Oh, the simp? Eliza's face, completely blank. Just some guy from class. Jordan's eyes snapped open. Oh! Jordan launched himself out of his bed. He nearly tripped and wiped out. His feet hit the floor at a bad angle and Jordan had to catch himself on the bed frame before he twisted his ankle. No. No, no, no. This is exactly what got me here. Jordan stood in the middle of his loft bedroom breathing heavily. He was able to see his reflection in the window. 6'2" wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt with mysterious stains on them. His hair looked fucking disgusting and his face had a tinge of defeated melancholy on it. No, Jordan. Tomorrow does not exist. Tomorrow is exactly how you ended up with sheets you haven't changed in months and dirty clothes and food everywhere. Tomorrow is a lie that makes you stay comfortable for one more night and waste this opportunity. Jordan grabbed his phone and opened up Spotify to scroll to the locked-in playlist. It's something he was into doing when he saw Eliza kept liking photos of guys with abs and wanted to get a gym body for 2 weeks. Now Jordan was gonna hit play for himself. The first song dropped and bass filled the phone speaker with drums kicking in like a heart on cocaine. All right, he said it to his reflection. Let's lock in. ===/N. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. The kitchen first. Strategy. Start with the easiest win and build momentum. Jordan took the stairs 2 at a time. His body protested. When was the last time he'd moved this fast? When was the last time he'd moved at all? His legs burned by the time he hit the bottom step. Out of shape didn't even cover it. He was actively decaying. The cabinet under the sink opened with a creak. Inside, untouched, sat everything his mom had bought him when he first moved in. A whole roll of black trash bags. Yellow rubber gloves still in the package. Clorox wipes in the big container. Paper towels, the good kind with the quilted texture. Spray cleaner that promised to kill 99.9% of germs. She'd written a note on the Clorox container. Jordan's stomach did something complicated when he saw it. His mom's handwriting, blue pen on the white plastic lid. For emergencies and Saturdays. Love you, Mom. Emergencies and Saturdays. She'd been so optimistic. So convinced her son would use these things that he'd have a routine, that he'd be the kind of person who cleaned his apartment on Saturdays like a functional human. Jordan had never opened any of it. Not once in 4 months. He tore the plastic off the trash bag roll. The first bag came free with a satisfying rip of perforations. He shook it open. The black plastic billowed out huge contractor-grade size. His mom hadn't messed around. These bags could hold a body. They were going to need to. Jordan started with the coffee table. The pizza box went in first. It stuck to the table surface. He had to pry it up. The grease had created an actual seal between cardboard and IKEA finish. Something brown and organic came with it. He didn't look too close. Just dropped the whole thing in the bag. The Red Bull cans followed. 1, 2, 3, 4. He was up to 7 before he realized he'd been counting out loud. The music pounded from his phone on the counter. Lyrics about winning and grinding and never stopping. Exactly the kind of stuff that used to make him roll his eyes. Now it sounded like instructions. More trash revealed itself as he cleared the coffee table. Old napkins wadded into balls. Plastic fork. 2 spoons. The takeout containers he'd been avoiding looking at directly. One had soup in it still. The soup had developed a skin. The skin had developed texture. Nope. That container went in the bag without further investigation. Some things you didn't need to understand. You just needed to remove them from your life. The trash can by the kitchen was next. Jordan pulled the bag out. It was stuffed so full the drawstring had disappeared into the mass of garbage. He had to dig for it with his fingers. Something wet touched his hand. He jerked back, grabbed the yellow gloves, put them on, tried again. The bag came free. It weighed at least 20 pounds. How had he let it get this bad? The answer was obvious. One container at a time. One day at a time. One choice to deal with it tomorrow instead of today, repeated for 2 weeks until the trash can became a structural support for garbage architecture. Jordan tied off the bag, set it by the door, grabbed a new one. The roll was getting lighter. He'd already used 3 bags and he hadn't even touched the upstairs yet. His reflection moved in the dark windows. 6'2" of skinny fat teenager in yellow rubber gloves throwing away evidence of his own decline. His hair stuck up at weird angles from the CVS dye job. His face looked pale in the glass. But he was moving. That counted for something. The Clorox wipes came next. Jordan peeled back the safety seal, pulled out the first wipe. It smelled like chemicals and promise. He attacked the coffee table. The grease circles fought back. He scrubbed harder. The first wipe turned brown. He threw it away, grabbed another. 6 wipes later the table looked almost normal. Light would grain visible again. Clean enough to eat off, which was ironic because he'd never eaten at it properly. Just leaned over it with takeout containers while watching streams on his phone. The kitchen counters were easier. Nothing had really touched them except dust. Jordan wiped them down anyway. White quartz gleamed under the paper towels. The stove top sparkled. The stainless steel appliances reflected the overhead lights. His apartment was starting to look like a place where humans lived on purpose. The vacuum cleaner stood in the coat closet by the door. Jordan had forgotten he owned it. His dad had bought it the same day as the Roomba. Both of them purchased with the confidence of someone who believed his son would use them. The vacuum still had the tag attached. The Roomba sat in its charging dock, blinking a sad red light that meant its battery had died months ago. Jordan plugged the Roomba in. The light turned orange. Charging. It would take a few hours to be useful, but at least it was trying. The vacuum roared to life when he hit the power button. Loud. Louder than he remembered vacuums being. But it sucked up the dirt from the concrete floor like it was hungry for validation. Back and forth across the living room. Under the couch. Around the coffee table. The canister filled with dust and hair and particles of whatever he'd tracked in over 4 months. His ears rang from the noise. The music couldn't compete. But the floor looked better. Gray concrete showing through where before there'd been just a film of grime. Jordan's arms hurt. His back hurt. His legs hurt from standing. He'd been cleaning for an hour and he was sweating through his shirt. The timer on his phone read 22 hours, 54 minutes. He looked up at the loft, at the bed, at the stairs that led to the real mess. The biological anomaly under the bed was waiting. One step at a time, Jordan muttered. He grabbed the trash bag roll, checked his gloves, started climbing. == /n. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. Jordan stood at the top of his stairs, surveying the radioactive fallout zone that was once his bedroom. The loft space looked like a nuclear test site where the bomb was labeled Teenage Disappointment instead of plutonium. Holy shit, he muttered. His room had passed disgusting weeks ago and entered some new territory that probably required hazmat suits and government clearance. The sheets on his bed were a color that didn't exist in nature, a sickly gray-brown with darker stains and patterns he refused to analyze. His nightstand overflowed with empty Red Bull cans stacked into a pyramid that had partially collapsed onto the floor. Fast food wrappers created a crunchy carpet layer that completely obscured the actual floor. Jordan kicked a McDonald's bag. Something skittered away from under it. Nope, that's a tomorrow problem. Except it wasn't. That was the whole point. There was no tomorrow for this. The system's countdown clock kept ticking, relentless gold numbers reminding him that procrastination had created this mess in the first place. He tied a bandana around his face. Not because he thought it would help with the smell. His nose had given up detecting odors in this room weeks ago, but because it made him feel like he was taking this seriously. Like a surgeon preparing for a particularly gory operation. Let's do this. The bedsheets came off first. Jordan grabbed them by one corner and yanked. They resisted, stuck to the mattress in places. When they finally came free, a cloud of dust and skin cells puffed into the air. Jordan held the sheets at arm's length, trying not to think about how they had become stiff enough to stand on their own. He stuffed them into a trash bag. They weren't even worth trying to wash. Some things were beyond salvation. The mattress beneath looked worse than he expected. Yellow stains formed a Jackson Pollock painting across its surface. The worst concentration was in the center where he slept, but satellite stains spread outward like territorial claims. Sweat, oil, spilled drinks, and other fluids. "I'm a biohazard," Jordan said, staring at the evidence of his own depravity. Under the bed awaited the biological anomaly the system had flagged. Jordan crouched down, phone flashlight activated, and peered into the darkness. Oh God! A collection of crusty socks huddled together like a colony of bleached sea creatures. They had migrated into a pile, congealing at the edges where Jordan gagged. The flashlight beam caught what looked like the beginning of mold growth. Actual, living mold, feeding on the remains of his shame sessions. "I need a stick or something." He found a wire coat hanger in his closet, unbent it, and used it to drag the sock colony out from under the bed. They came reluctantly, leaving bits of themselves on the floor as they emerged. Jordan held his breath as he shoveled them into a separate trash bag, double knotting it immediately. That was just the beginning. The desk came next. Stacks of unopened mail surrounded his dusty laptop. Bills mostly, some from his father's businesses where Jordan was supposed to be learning responsibility by paying his own phone plan. Past due notices with increasing urgency in their red-stamped warnings. Under those, hidden beneath a pizza box that contained a slice so old it had mummified, Jordan found magazines. Not the normal kind. The paper kind that shouldn't exist in 2024, except they did, and 18-year-old Jordan had paid actual money for them at a shop 40 minutes away where they didn't ask for ID. Jesus, who even buys physical porn anymore? Apparently he did. The stack was thick 10, maybe 12 magazines with women in various states of undress on their glossy covers. Jordan had ordered them online during a paranoid phase where he'd convinced himself the government was tracking his internet history. The irony that he'd used his credit card for the physical purchase was something old Jordan had never considered. He flipped through one absently. The pages stuck together in places. Fuck! Those went into the trash too. Along with all the unopened bills, the pizza fossil, 3 empty bags of chips, and a collection of sticky notes with half-written reminders that he'd never completed. 2 hours in, Jordan had filled 6 contractor-grade trash bags. His hamstrings screamed from the constant bending and lifting. Sweat plastered his t-shirt to his back. But the room was starting to take shape. The floor emerged from beneath its trash blanket. Turns out it was hardwood, not garbage-colored carpet as he'd started to believe. Jordan attacked it with the vacuum, watching dust bunnies the size of actual rabbits disappear into the machine's hungry mouth. His closet was a nightmare. Clothes spilled from hangers, most unwashed, some still with tags. Jordan had spent money here too. Designer shirts he thought would impress Eliza, expensive jeans that would make her see him differently. All of it wound up on the floor instead of on dates. He sorted everything into piles: wash, donate, trash. The wash pile towered over the others, a mountain of fabric that would require multiple loads. "This is going to take all night," Jordan groaned. But what was the alternative? Return to who he was yesterday. That guy who let Cameron steal his girl, who jerked off to OnlyFans while crying, who spent $3,000 for a coffee date with a girl who didn't even know his name. Fuck that guy. The wash pile went downstairs first. Jordan separated it into darks and lights, surprising himself that he even remembered how. The washing machine accepted the first load with a gurgle that sounded judgmental. He poured in detergent, closed the lid, and started the cycle. Back upstairs, the real test waited. The mattress. Jordan Googled how to clean stained mattress on his phone. The internet suggested baking soda, vinegar, and sunlight. He had one of those things. The cabinet under the kitchen sink yielded a box of baking soda his mom had left. Jordan carried it upstairs and proceeded to dump almost the entire thing over his mattress. White powder coated the yellow stains like snowfall on a toxic waste dump. That's probably enough? ===/N. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. It would have to be. The instructions said to let it sit for several hours, then vacuum it up. He'd do that after tackling the bathroom. Oh God, the bathroom. 4 hours into his cleaning rampage, Jordan opened the bathroom door and immediately closed it again. Nope. 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 Whatever lived in there wasn't human. The mirror was splattered with toothpaste. The sink held beard trimmings from when he'd attempted to grow facial hair. Result: patchy disappointment. The shower, Jordan didn't even want to think about the shower. Black mold had established colonies in the grout lines, claiming territory like tiny civilizations. He opened the bathroom cabinet and found more cleaning supplies his mother had optimistically purchased. Armed with toilet bowl cleaner, shower spray, and what appeared to be industrial-strength mold killer, Jordan reopened the bathroom door. I'm coming for you, bathroom demons. The toilet surrendered first. Multiple flushes and aggressive scrubbing restored it to something resembling porcelain rather than a science experiment. The sink followed, clumps of hair and toothpaste excavated with paper towels. The shower took the longest. Jordan had to let the mold killer soak for 20 minutes before the black spots would even consider releasing their grip. He scrubbed until his arms burned, wiping away months of soap scum and hair and whatever else had accumulated while he'd been too depressed to care. 5 hours after starting his cleaning crusade, Jordan stood in the middle of his apartment surveying the results. 8 contractor bags lined the wall by the door, filled with the evidence of his degradation. The floor was visible. The kitchen counters gleamed. The bathroom no longer required a quarantine sign. His mattress upstairs lay under a blanket of baking soda. The washing machine hummed through its third load. His room looked almost normal, like a place where a functioning human might live. Jordan checked his phone. The timer read 18 hours, 43 minutes remaining. I didn't die, he said to the empty apartment. That's something. His legs gave out before his will did. Jordan collapsed onto the couch, muscles liquefying from the unaccustomed exertion. He hadn't moved this much in months, hadn't accomplished this much in longer. The couch cushions embraced him like an old friend. They were clean now, he'd vacuumed them and wiped down the leather. No mysterious damp spots remained. No empty cans rolled off when he sat down. Just gonna close my eyes for a minute, Jordan mumbled. His phone slipped from his fingers, landing on his chest. The golden countdown continued to tick away, but Jordan didn't see it. His eyelids dropped, heavy as iron doors, and consciousness fled before he could fight it. He dreamed of swimming through trash bags, of mattresses that tried to eat him, of socks that crawled under his bed by themselves. But mostly he dreamed of numbers counting down, of percentages rising, of a system that watched his every move with cool, mechanical interest. Jordan woke with a jolt, disoriented in the darkness. His apartment smelled different, clean, like lemons and chemicals instead of old food and despair. His phone screen glowed on his chest. The timer read 14 hours, 12 minutes. Shit! He'd slept for over 4 hours. For precious hours he could have used to wash the rest of his clothes or vacuum the baking soda from his mattress or start on the next quest objectives. Jordan tried to sit up. His body screamed in protest. Muscles he didn't know he had reported for duty with complaints about abuse. His lower back felt like someone had replaced his spine with rusty rebar. His shoulders burned from reaching and scrubbing and lifting. Is this what exercise feels like? Jordan groaned. People do this on purpose? He forced himself upright despite the protests from his rebellious body. The apartment looked different in the dim light filtering through the blinds. Cleaner, yes, but also emptier. As if he'd excavated space that had been buried under garbage and neglect. The washing machine had stopped. Jordan shuffled over to it, opened the lid, and found clean, wet clothes waiting to be transferred to the dryer. He made the switch, adding a dryer sheet as a half-hearted concession to proper laundry procedure. His stomach growled, reminding him that he hadn't eaten since. When? He couldn't remember. The refrigerator held nothing but expired condiments and a suspicious container labeled smoothie that had separated into distinct geological layers. Food run, Jordan decided. Then salon. Then laundry. Then call Dad. The thought of calling his father made his stomach clench tighter than hunger had. That was the real quest here. Not cleaning the apartment or fixing his hair, but facing the man whose disappointment had become a physical presence in Jordan's life. But first, he needed food. And his mattress needed time for the baking soda to work its alleged miracle. Jordan peeled off his sweat-soaked clothes and stepped into the freshly cleaned shower. Hot water cascaded over his tired muscles, washing away hours of accumulated filth. He used actual soap, the expensive kind his mom had bought him that smelled like sandalwood. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis, hygiene level 1 and 2 completed. Clean, dressed in the only clean clothes he could find, gym shorts and a t-shirt that said Pacific Crest Volleyball, from a team he'd never joined. Jordan grabbed his keys and phone. The golden timer continued its countdown. 16 hours, 3 minutes. I'm going to make it, Jordan told his reflection in the newly cleaned bathroom mirror. His face looked different, tired but purposeful. The dark circles remained, but something in his eyes had changed. I'm actually going to make it. His phone pinged with a notification. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis, physical activity. 90 minutes completed. Wait, cleaning counts? Jordan laughed. Fuck yeah, it does. == /n. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. Jordan grabbed the first trash bag. The thing weighed at least 30 pounds. He dragged it to his apartment door, then went back for another. And another. 8 bags total, lined up against the wall like body bags after a massacre. He opened his door and started hauling them into the hallway one at a time. The building's trash chute was all the way down at the end of the floor. Of course it was. Nothing could be easy. This is going to suck, Jordan muttered, setting the first 2 bags outside his door. He went back for more. The hallway of the Cooper garment loft stretched ahead of him, exposed brick and industrial lighting making everything look like a hipster photo shoot. Very aesthetic. Very expensive. Very far from the trash chute. Jordan had just set down the 4th bag when the door to Unit 403 opened. A girl stepped out wearing a white baseball cap pulled low, black hair spilling out from underneath with electric blue streaks catching the light. She wore an oversized gray hoodie that hung off one shoulder, showing a white tank top underneath, and black leggings that did absolutely nothing to hide the curve of her hips and thighs. White sneakers, spotless. A small crossbody bag slung across her body. Her face stopped Jordan's brain mid-thought. Heart-shaped, delicate features, striking blue eyes that had to be contacts because nobody had eyes that color naturally. Clear skin that probably cost more in products than Jordan's entire skincare routine, which currently consisted of soap and hoping for the best. She looked at Jordan, then at the trash bags, then back at Jordan. Whoa! Her voice carried surprise and something like amusement. Did you have a party or something? Jordan's brain scrambled for words. Any words. Normal human words that didn't make him sound like the disaster he'd been 2 days ago. Yeah, something like that. He managed what he hoped was a casual shrug. Mix of that and some spring cleaning. Thank God for his mom's weird obsession with buying trash bags that smelled like Fabuloso. The light purple scent wafted from the bags instead of the horror show they actually contained. If not for that, this girl would be backing away slowly instead of smiling at him. Jordan rubbed the back of his head, suddenly aware of how he looked. Gym shorts, volleyball t-shirt, still damp hair from the shower. At least he was clean. That had to count for something. He glanced down the hallway toward the trash chute. So far away. So many trips. I just wish the trash chute wasn't a mile away, Jordan muttered, glancing at the remaining bags. The girl laughed. Well, it's good that you're being so proactive about it. Yeah. Say something else, his brain screamed. Anything. You're talking to a hot girl and not immediately self-destructing. This is progress. Don't waste it. You didn't hear anything, right? The words tumbled out before Jordan could stop them. I mean like the party. Haha. Smooth. Real smooth. Why did he add the haha at the end? What was wrong with him? The girl tilted her head, thinking. Her blue-streaked hair shifted with the movement, catching the light. No! She drew out the word. I'm a heavy sleeper, and the walls are pretty thick here, so yeah. Jordan's panic eased slightly. She hadn't heard him vacuuming at 2 in the morning or crying in the shower or any of the other pathetic sounds that had leaked from Unit 404 over the past few months. Her eyes dropped to his shirt. You play volleyball? Shit. What did he say here? The shirt was from freshman orientation when they'd handed out free gear for every sport. Jordan had grabbed one because it was free and looked comfortable. He'd never touched a volleyball in his life except in mandatory PE class. But this girl with the blue streaks and the eyes and the way her leggings hugged her thighs. This girl was waiting for an answer. Lie and say yes? Claim he was on the team? What if she asked details? What if she knew someone on the actual team? Yeah, just club. The words came out before Jordan fully processed them. I wasn't that great, but I had fun. Got a lot of fond memories from it. The girl's face lit up. Same here, but with tennis. Haha. Why did he just say haha out loud instead of actually laughing? Jordan wanted to crawl into one of the trash bags and throw himself down the chute. The silence stretched. The girl shifted her bag. Jordan stood there like an idiot, running through possible conversation topics and rejecting all of them. Sports? Already covered that. Weather? In California? Where it was always 70 degrees. Classes? He didn't even know if she went to Pacific Crest. Her smile turned polite. Well, I'll leave you to it. Thanks, you two. Jordan's mouth was still moving. I mean, kill him now. Yeah, thanks. The girl giggled. She gave a small wave with her fingers, turned, and headed down the hallway toward the stairs. Jordan watched her go. The way she walked, hips swaying naturally with each step. The blue streaks in her hair bobbing with her movement. She disappeared down the stairwell. Jordan stood alone in the hallway surrounded by 8 trash bags that smelled like artificial purple flowers. I didn't even get her name, he said to the empty corridor. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Social objective. January 3rd beauties contacted. 2 minutes minimum. Current. 3 minutes. 47 seconds. Progress tracked. Continue. Jordan stared at the notification. The system had been watching. Of course it had. That entire awkward conversation. Every stumble and verbal disaster. Logged and measured. But he'd done it. Talked to a girl for almost 4 minutes without apologizing for existing. Without offering to buy her something. Without checking his phone nervously or making an excuse to leave first. The old Jordan would have seen the trash bags, panicked, and waited until 3 in the morning to move them when nobody could witness his shame. New Jordan had trash bags in the hallway and a conversation with the hot neighbor who apparently lived in Unit 403, right next door. Jordan grabbed 2 bags and started walking toward the trash chute. His arms protested immediately, muscles still sore from hours of cleaning. But he kept walking, dragging the bags behind him like a caveman with his kills. The trash chute door opened with a rusty squeal. Jordan heaved the first bag through. It dropped with a satisfying thump somewhere far below. The second bag followed. 6 more to go. Jordan made the walk back to his door, grabbed 2 more bags, and repeated the journey. Then again, and again. By the 5th trip, his arms were screaming. Sweat soaked through his volleyball shirt. His legs felt like someone had replaced his bones with wet noodles. But every bag he threw down that chute was a piece of the old Jordan vanishing. Every step toward the trash room was a step away from the apartment where he'd spent 2 weeks doing nothing but feeling sorry for himself. The last bag hit the pile below with a final echoing crash. Jordan stood at the trash chute, breathing hard, staring at the metal door that had swallowed months of his failures. His phone buzzed. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Physical activity. 120 minutes completed. 30-minute bonus. Bonus reward. +1 quest ticket. Jordan walked back to his apartment on legs that barely functioned. The hallway was empty now. Clean. Like the trash had never existed. He pushed open his door to Unit 404. The apartment still smelled like Fabuloso and cleaning products. The floor was visible. The kitchen gleamed. Upstairs, his mattress lay under its coat of baking soda, waiting to be vacuumed. Jordan checked his phone. The timer read 15 hours, 47 minutes. Mattress, then laundry, then salon, then dad. He climbed the stairs to his loft one step at a time, each movement a small victory over his body's demands to quit. The vacuum cleaner stood where he'd left it. Jordan plugged it in, turned it on, and began sucking up the baking soda from his mattress. The white powder disappeared into the machine, revealing the stained surface beneath. It still looked terrible, but it looked cleaner. That had to count for something. The dryer buzzed downstairs. Jordan abandoned the vacuum and went to retrieve his clothes. Warm fabric, soft from the dryer sheet, smelling like detergent instead of despair. He carried the load upstairs and dumped it on his now vacuumed mattress. Then went back down for the next wash cycle. Jordan pulled the last load from the dryer and climbed the stairs one final time. His legs were done. Completely finished. If his apartment caught fire right now, he'd just let it burn because he couldn't walk another step. But his apartment was clean. His clothes were washed. His mattress no longer actively offended every sense. The timer showed 14 hours, 12 minutes remaining. Salon time, Jordan said to his empty apartment. Let's go fix this disaster on my head. ===/N. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. Jordan stood outside the first salon at 2:47 p.m., staring at the price list taped to the window. His stomach dropped. Men's color correction. Starting at $325. Starting at $325. For hair. Jordan's bank account currently held $247. The system's sign-on bonus wouldn't arrive until he completed ground zero, which meant he needed to fix his hair disaster with the money he had right now. Next, Jordan muttered, pulling up Google Maps on his phone. The second salon sat in a trendy part of downtown, all white walls and minimalist decor. A woman with perfectly styled blonde hair looked up from her phone as Jordan walked in. Hi, how can we help you today? Jordan pointed at his head. I need this fixed. The woman's smile tightened slightly. Her eyes assessed the damage. The uneven brown dye job that had turned his natural dirty blonde into something resembling mud. The fried texture from too much box dye and not enough conditioner. Let me get our colorist. A man emerged from the back wearing all black, his own hair styled in a perfect fade. He walked around Jordan in a slow circle, occasionally reaching out to touch a strand and wince. Box dye. Yeah. Multiple applications? Maybe. And you want to go back to your natural color? If possible. The colorist sucked air through his teeth. We can do it. Color correction, deep conditioning treatment, cut to remove the most damaged parts. Looking at 3 sessions minimum to get you back to healthy. Jordan's palms started sweating. How much? First session would be $450, then $200 per follow-up. $850 total. Jordan was already backing toward the door. Thanks. I'll think about it. The third salon looked fancy from the outside. Floor-to-ceiling windows, plants everywhere, the kind of place where they served you champagne while they worked on your hair. Jordan walked in because Google said they did men's cuts. Maybe they'd have something affordable. A woman in a crisp white shirt approached him. Do you have an appointment? No. I was just hoping to get a price quote. Of course. What service are you looking for? Jordan explained the situation. Again, the box dye, the damage. the desperate need to look human again. The woman nodded along, her expression carefully neutral. We'd need to do a consultation first. That's complimentary. Then our color correction packages start at $500 for men. $500. Jordan thanked her and left before she could see him laugh. The kind of laugh that bubbles up when your options are either laugh or scream. He sat on a bench outside the salon and opened Google Maps again. His phone screen showed salon after salon, all with variations of the same sleek aesthetic and presumably the same soul-crushing prices. There has to be somewhere, Jordan muttered, zooming out on the map. His eyes caught on a cluster of businesses about 3 miles away. The reviews were mixed, but the photos showed actual people getting their hair cut. Not magazine models. Not influencers. Just regular people who needed regular haircuts. Jordan clicked on one listing. Fade King's Barbershop. No price listed. Just an address and reviews that said things like, always take care of me, and best fade in the city. The location sat in a part of town Jordan's GPS helpfully labeled as high crime area, with a little warning symbol. Jordan looked at his timer. 12 hours, 43 minutes. Fuck it. The drive took 30 minutes. Jordan watched as the buildings changed from trendy boutiques to liquor stores with bars on the windows. Graffiti-covered walls in elaborate murals and tags. Groups of people stood on corners, talking and laughing in the late afternoon sun. Jordan's Honda Civic felt very white and very out of place. He found parking on the street and sat in his car for a full minute, staring at the barbershop across the street. The building was painted bright blue with Fade Kings written in gold letters across the front. Through the window he could see barber chairs and people moving around inside. Music thumped from an open doorway, the bass vibrating in Jordan's chest. The air smelled different here, a mix of grilled meat from a street cart and the faint, sweet scent of cheap perfume. You're just getting a haircut, Jordan told himself. In and out. They cut hair. You need haircut. This is a normal transaction. He got out of his car and locked it twice. Then a third time to be sure. The sidewalk felt different under his feet. Rougher. Cracked in places. Jordan kept his head down and walked toward the barbershop, very aware of his clean white volleyball shirt and gym shorts that probably cost more than some people's weekly grocery budget. A group of 3 guys stood outside the barbershop, leaning against the wall. One of them was tall, wearing a white tank top that showed arms covered in tattoos. The other 2 were shorter but built like they lifted weights for fun. They looked at Jordan, then at each other, then back at Jordan. His legs felt disconnected from his brain. Every instinct screamed at him to pivot, to walk away, but he forced one foot in front of the other, the cracked sidewalk seeming to stretch on for miles. Jordan walked up to the door. The 3 guys stepped forward, forming a loose semicircle that blocked his path. The tall one spoke first. Yo! Hey! Jordan said. His voice came out higher than normal. Who you with, cuz? Jordan's brain scrambled. Who was he with? What did that mean? Was that code for something? Should he name drop someone? Did he know anyone to name drop? Jordan swallowed. No one. The 3 guys exchanged glances. The shorter one on the left cracked his knuckles. The one on the right moved closer, close enough that Jordan could smell cologne and something sweet like candy. No one. The tall one repeated, stepping forward. They surrounded him. Jordan's back pressed against the barbershop window. His heart hammered against his ribs so hard he thought they might crack. Jordan's voice cracked. I just wanted to fix my hair. The tall guy leaned in. Really? Not a question. A statement loaded with implications Jordan couldn't read. Yeah, Jordan said. His hands were shaking. Really? I know it looks bad. I used box dye like an idiot and now it's fried and every salon wants like $500 and I'm just... Relax. The tension in the guy's face vanished, replaced by a wide, disarming grin. A deep laugh rumbled in his chest. Easy, man. I'm just fucking with you. You came for a cut, right? We can take care of that fried shit you got going on. Jordan blinked. What? This is my shop. The guy gestured at the building behind Jordan. I'm Marcus. These are my boys Dre and Trey. Come on. Marcus clapped Jordan on the shoulder, nearly knocking him sideways, and opened the door to the barbershop. ===/N. If you enjoyed this chapter, please consider adding this story to your library and leaving a vote. Your support helps me keep writing, release more chapters from my backlog, and speed up my updates. And if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or just want to share what you think about this chapter, feel free to drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next chapter. Sound exploded out. Music pumping from speakers mounted in the corners. ESPN on a flat-screen TV mounted on the wall showing First Take with Stephen A. Smith yelling about something. The smell of hair products and cologne and something cooking in the back. 3 barber chairs lined the left wall, all occupied. Guys getting fades, getting shape-ups, getting braids redone. The barbers worked with clippers and scissors and combs, their hands moving with practiced ease. 4 more guys sat in chairs along the right wall, waiting. They all looked up when Marcus walked in with Jordan. The music dropped in volume. Stephen A. Smith's voice faded to background noise. Everyone stared at Jordan. One of the barbers called out. What's good, white boy Ricky? Jordan froze in the doorway. My name's not Ricky. It is now, another guy said, laughing. Marcus pushed Jordan further into the shop. Y'all leave him alone. Kid needs help with his hair, and I said we'd take care of him. Shit, the first barber said. He was working on a fade, his clippers buzzing against a client's head. Look at that disaster. What you do, man? Bleach it yourself. Box dye, Jordan admitted. The entire shop erupted in laughter and groans. Box dye? Why though? Who told you that was okay? Marcus guided Jordan to an empty chair in the back corner. Sit. Let me look at this mess. Jordan sat. The chair was worn leather, cracked in places but comfortable. Marcus moved around behind him, running his fingers through Jordan's hair with the kind of clinical assessment the expensive salon guy had done. Yeah, this is bad, Marcus said. But we can work with it. How much you trying to spend? Honestly, Jordan pulled out his phone and checked his banking app. 200 is my max. 200. Marcus nodded. I can do a color correction, get you back close to your natural color. Won't be perfect first session, might have some brassiness we gotta tone out. Then a cut to clean up the damaged ends. Sound good? That's 200 total? Yeah man, I got you. Jordan felt something loosen in his chest. Seriously? You see me laughing? Marcus met Jordan's eyes in the mirror. Sit back. This is gonna take a couple hours. Jordan sank into the chair. The TV switched from First Take to some show about hip-hop and love. The music turned back up. The shop returned to its previous energy. Conversations overlapping, clippers buzzing, someone's phone ringing with a future song as the ringtone. Marcus disappeared into the back room and returned with a mixing bowl and various bottles. He started sectioning Jordan's hair with clips, muttering to himself about color theory and oxidation. So what made you come all the way out here? Marcus asked, painting something cold onto Jordan's scalp. Got salons all over the city. They were all crazy expensive, Jordan said. Google Maps showed this place had good reviews. Google Maps brought you to the hood? One of the waiting guys laughed. You brave white boy. Or stupid. Another guy added, but he was smiling. Maybe both, Jordan admitted. That got more laughs. Approving ones this time. Marcus worked in silence for a few minutes, covering sections of Jordan's hair with product that smelled chemical and strong. You in school? Pacific Crest, Jordan said. Second semester freshman. Oh shit. Rich boy university. It's not that fancy. My cousin pays 30 grand a year to go there. The barber working on the fade called out. It's that fancy. Jordan didn't have a response to that. His tuition was $45,000 a year, covered by his parents. He'd never thought about it as fancy or not fancy. It was just school. What you studying? Marcus asked. Business economics. Making that money, huh? Trying to. Jordan watched in the mirror as Marcus painted more product onto his hair. Right now I'm just trying not to fail my classes. Feel that? One of the waiting guys said. I dropped out sophomore year. School wasn't for me. Nothing wrong with that, Marcus said. Different paths for different people. Long as you're working towards something. The conversation drifted. Basketball came up. Someone mentioned the Lakers game from last night. Arguments broke out about whether LeBron was still elite or washed. Marcus set a timer on his phone and draped a towel over Jordan's shoulders. 45 minutes for this to process. Don't touch your hair. Jordan nodded. The shop's rhythm continued around him. He watched Marcus move to help another barber with a difficult blend. Watched guys come in and dap each other up with complicated handshakes Jordan could never replicate. Watched the community that existed in this space, loud and profane and somehow welcoming. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Social objective. February 3rd beauties contacted. 2 minutes minimum. Wait. Jordan pulled out his phone. The notification still glowed on his screen. 2 out of 3. He'd only talked to his neighbor earlier. Who was the second? Then he remembered. The woman at the third salon. The one with the champagne and the white shirt. They'd talked for at least 3 minutes about his hair situation. The system counted her as a beauty. Jordan stared at his phone. The quest didn't care about his intentions or his nervousness or the fact that he was sitting in a barbershop in the middle of the hood waiting for color correction that might not even work. The system just tracked progress. 1 more conversation with a woman. 2 minutes minimum. Then his daily quest would complete and he'd get 3 more quest tickets. The timer on Marcus's phone went off 45 minutes later. He guided Jordan to a wash basin in the back corner, laid his head back, and began rinsing out the product. Cold water hit Jordan's scalp. Marcus's fingers worked through his hair, scrubbing and rinsing and checking the color. Better, Marcus said. Not perfect, but better. He toweled Jordan's hair dry and led him back to the chair. Jordan looked at himself in the mirror. His hair was lighter. Still not his natural dirty blonde, but closer. The weird muddy brown had lifted to something more caramel-colored. Now we cut, Marcus said, picking up his scissors and comb. The next 30 minutes passed in a blur of snipping and buzzing and product. Marcus worked with the kind of focus that didn't require conversation. He cut away the most damaged parts, shaped what remained, blended the sides shorter. Jordan watched his reflection transform. The fried ends disappeared. The awkward length that had made him look like a failed wannabe musician got replaced with something clean and intentional. There. Marcus stepped back, holding up a mirror so Jordan could see the back. What you think? Jordan turned his head left and right. His hair looked good. Not perfect like Marcus had warned. There was still some brassiness that would need toning. But it looked like hair a normal person would have instead of evidence of a mental breakdown. It's good, Jordan said. Really good. Thanks, man. 200 even. Marcus dusted hair off Jordan's shoulders with a brush. You need to come back in like 2 weeks for a tone treatment. Another 50 for that. But you're good for now. Jordan reached into his back pocket and pulled out his wallet. Faded leather, cracked from neglect just like everything else in his life lately. He flipped it open, counting the bills inside. 320s, someone's not enough. I'll have to pay with card, he mumbled, reaching for the card slot. That's when he noticed something strange. A metal white card sat in the front slot of his wallet. He didn't remember putting it there. The card gleamed under the shop lights, perfectly pristine, with a small infinity symbol etched into its center. Weird. Jordan pulled it out, turning it over in his fingers. That's the one, Marcus said, nodding toward the card. That new fancy credit card? Rich kids got all kinds of tech these days. Jordan stared at the card. He'd never seen it before in his life. Had it been in his wallet this whole time? No way he would have missed something this distinctive. The system. It had to be. Yeah, Jordan said, handing over the strange white card. Let's try this one. Marcus took the card and swiped it through the reader. The machine beeped cheerfully. Appreciate it, Ricky. My name's Jordan. I know. Marcus grinned. But white boy Ricky is funnier. Equals. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan sat in his Honda Civic, engine off, staring at his reflection in the rearview mirror. Holy shit. The top section of his hair had returned to something close to his natural dirty blonde. Light brown with hints of gold when the afternoon sun hit it right. Marcus had kept the sides and back darker, almost black, creating contrast that actually looked intentional. Like Jordan had walked into a real salon and asked for a fade with color instead of panic buying box dye at CVS at 2 in the morning. He turned his head left and right. The cut was clean, sharp, the kind of haircut that said, I have my life together instead of, I've been crying in my apartment for 2 weeks. Jordan pulled out his phone. The golden interface materialized across his screen, responsive and smooth. Tutorial quest, Ground Zero. Time limit, 11 hours 47 minutes and 23 seconds. Objectives. E. Environmental purge. Deep clean the apartment. E. Textile decontamination. Wash all clothes and bedsheets. E. Damage control physical. Visit salon and fix hair disaster. 10. Damage control social. Call David McKnight, father. For objectives. 3 complete. 1 remaining. The last one. Jordan's stomach twisted. His thumb hovered over the quest log. Reading the requirement again. Apologize for recent behavior. State commitment to change. Do not ask for money. Speak clearly. Mean it. His father's voice echoed in his head. Disappointed but not surprised. The kind of tone that hurt worse than yelling ever could. Throwing money at your problems is making you smaller, Jordan. Not bigger. His phone buzzed with a new notification. Not the system this time. A text message. OnlyFans. New message from Calypso. Jordan's chest tightened. He'd forgotten. Completely fucking forgotten. He opened the message. Calypso. Hey, just confirming our meet today at 3 p.m. The Ivy in Long Beach. Can't wait to finally meet you in person. Thanks again for being such an amazing supporter. See you soon, Blue Heart. Today, 3 p.m. Jordan checked the date on his phone. January 11th. 1:38 p.m. Fuck, Jordan said out loud in his car. Long Beach was at least an hour drive from here. Maybe more depending on traffic. The Ivy was expensive. Like actually expensive. Not Panera expensive. He'd looked at the menu when he'd bought the package during his 2-week breakdown, thinking $3,000 meant he could afford to eat there too. Wrong. Entrees started at $45. Available balance, $47.21, plus the $64 cash in his wallet from the ATM run last week. $111 total. Enough for maybe 2 drinks and an appetizer if he was lucky and didn't tip. This was fine. Everything was fine. He'd spent $3,000 for a 45-minute coffee date with an OnlyFans model, and now he had to drive to Long Beach with barely enough money to buy her a latte. Cool. Great. Fantastic life choices, Jordan. But first he had to call his father. Jordan stared at his contact list. David McKnight. The number sat there like a landmine waiting to detonate. He could call later. After the Calypso thing. His dad was probably at work anyway. There is no tomorrow. Jordan's own voice from last night came back to him, standing in his filthy apartment, declaring he was done being this version of himself. That this morning was ground zero. 11 hours and 45 minutes remained on his quest timer. If he failed, the system disappeared forever. He'd go right back to being the guy crying in a parking lot on Christmas while Cameron Mitchell groped his girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend. Whatever. Jordan selected his father's contact and pressed call before his brain could stop him. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Maybe he wouldn't answer. Maybe Jordan could leave a voicemail and that would count. The system tracked effort, right? Trying was what mattered. Jordan. His father's voice came through on the 4th ring. Not a question. A statement. Flat and tired. Hey, Dad. Jordan's mouth went dry. Is this a bad time? I'm at the store. Give me a second. Jordan heard background noise. The beep of a cash register. Someone asking about cigarettes behind the counter. His father's footsteps moving away from the noise. A door closing, then quiet. All right, David McKnight said. I'm in the office. What's going on? You need something? You need something? No, Jordan said. I don't need anything. I called to apologize. Silence on the other end. Long enough that Jordan checked his phone to make sure the call hadn't dropped. For what? Jordan gripped the steering wheel with his free hand. For the last 4 months. For being a fuck-up. For spending your money on stupid shit and lying about it. For not going to class. For not answering when you called. For making mom worry. More silence. I'm not asking for anything, Jordan continued. His reflection stared back at him in the rearview mirror. I just wanted you to know I'm done being that person. I cleaned my apartment today. All of it. Threw out 8 trash bags of garbage. Got my hair fixed. I'm going to my classes this semester. I'm going to stop wasting the chances you gave me. Jordan. His father's voice cracked slightly. Are you okay? Did something happen? Yeah, Jordan said. Something happened. I hit bottom. And I'm climbing back up now. Where are you right now? Sitting in my car outside a barber shop. Jordan almost laughed. In a neighborhood you'd probably tell me to leave immediately if you knew where it was. Then leave. Already done. Hair's fixed. Looks good, actually. David McKnight exhaled slowly. Your mother's been worried sick, his father said finally. She thinks I was too hard on you. Cutting your allowance. Telling you to figure it out yourself. You weren't too hard on me, Jordan said. You were right. I was using your money like a credit card with unlimited funds. Thought I could buy my way into maturity or whatever. Didn't work. No, his father agreed. It usually doesn't. Jordan watched a group of kids ride bikes past his car. Laughing about something. Completely unconcerned with their surroundings. He'd forgotten what that felt like. Being light. I'm not saying I'm fixed, Jordan continued. I'm probably going to mess up again. But I'm trying now. That's all I wanted to hear, David said. His voice had gone softer. You don't need to be perfect, Jordan. You just need to be honest with yourself about where you are and where you're going. I know. Jordan checked the time on his dashboard. 1:46 p.m. He needed to leave soon if he wanted to make the Calypso thing. I should let you get back to work. Call your mother tonight, his father said. She needs to hear this too. And Jordan. Yeah. I'm proud of you for calling. That took guts. The line went dead before Jordan could respond. He sat in his car, phone still pressed to his ear, processing what had just happened. His father had said he was proud. When was the last time Jordan had heard those words? High school, maybe. Before he'd started the slow slide into pathetic. His phone buzzed. Confetti ball quest completed. Confetti ball. Ground 0. Reward. 10 quest tickets. System sign-on bonus. $1,500 deposited to secure system account. Total balance. $1,547.21. Jordan stared at the notification. The golden interface glowed against his palm. Numbers updating in real time. His banking app refreshed automatically, showing the new balance like magic. $1,500. Just appeared. Because he'd cleaned his apartment and fixed his hair and called his father. The system was real. Completely, absolutely real. Jordan started his car. The engine turned over with its usual reliable Honda hum. He pulled up Google Maps and typed in the Ivy, Long Beach. Estimated arrival time. 2:42 p.m. 18 minutes to spare if traffic cooperated. Jordan pulled out of his parking spot and merged into afternoon traffic. His hair looked good in every mirror he passed. The streets gradually improved as he drove, going from barred windows and graffiti to clean storefronts and palm trees. His phone sat in the cup holder, Calypso's message still open on the screen. Can't wait to finally meet you in person. Jordan had subscribed to her channel 6 months ago. October, right before he'd met Eliza and convinced himself he had a girlfriend. Calypso posted 3 times a week. Solo content mostly. Lingerie photos, artistic shots with creative lighting, occasional cosplay. Her face was always blurred or covered with a mask, but her body was ridiculous. Hourglass figure, toned stomach, perfect proportions that looked professionally maintained. And that blue streak in her black hair. Her signature look. Every photo, every video, that electric blue visible even when everything else was hidden. Jordan had spent probably $2,000 on her content over 6 months. Custom videos, tips, private DMs where she responded with personalized messages that made him feel seen. Not like Eliza, who'd used him as an ATM and fucked Cameron Mitchell in a love hotel. The $3,000 coffee date package had appeared in December. Exclusive IRL meet and greet, limited availability, top supporters only. Jordan had bought it the day after Christmas. Sitting in his disgusting apartment, credit card in hand, thinking maybe this would fix the hole Eliza had torn open. Now he was driving to meet her with a new haircut, a clean apartment, and a magical phone app that tracked women's attraction to him like a video game stat. His life had become a simulation. Or a pornwa. One of those Korean manhwa where the loser protagonist gets a second chance through some supernatural system. Jordan merged onto the freeway. Traffic moved smoothly for a Saturday afternoon. The ocean appeared in the distance, dark blue against lighter sky. The ivy sat in a wealthy section of Long Beach. White tablecloths, valet parking, people dressed like they had board meetings to attend after brunch. Jordan's Honda Civic was going to look pathetic in that parking lot. Whatever, Calypso had his money. The least she could do was drink coffee with him for 45 minutes. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan merged into the right lane, following the GPS directions toward Long Beach. The ocean stretched out beyond the highway barrier, sunlight bouncing off the water in a way that would have been calming if his brain wasn't currently having a meltdown. He glanced down at himself while stopped at a red light. Gray gym shorts, volleyball shirt from a team he never joined. White Nike socks pulled up to mid-calf like he was about to play pickup basketball at the Y. Oh fuck, Jordan said out loud. This wasn't date attire. This was laundry day attire. This was... I cleaned my apartment for 16 hours and put on the first clean clothes I could find attire. He was about to meet a woman who made 6 figures posting pictures of her body on the internet, and he looked like he was headed to Planet Fitness. Wait, Jordan's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Why the hell did he care what Calypso thought of his outfit? She didn't actually care about him. She cared about the $3,000 he'd transferred to her account. In her eyes, Jordan was just another loser subscriber who paid premium rates to pretend they had a connection. She'd show up, smile behind her mask and sunglasses, make small talk for exactly 45 minutes, take a few photos for her page, and disappear back into the internet void. This wasn't a date. This was a transaction. Jordan could just bail. Turn the car around right now. He'd already completed the most important quest objective by calling his father. The system had deposited $1,500 into his account. He could cut his losses, go home, finish his skincare routine, and call it a successful day. But the daily quest. Jordan pulled up the quest log on his phone at the next red light. Daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Objectives. E. Physical. 120 minutes logged. Bonus completed. E. Hygiene level 1. Shower using actual soap. E. Hygiene level 2. Brush teeth, floss. 10. Grooming. Apply skincare routine. 10. Social. February 3rd beauties contacted for 2+ minutes. 2 out of 3 beauties contacted. 1 more conversation and the social objective was complete. Then all he'd need was the skincare routine and he'd bank another 3 quest tickets. Calypso counted as a beauty. Objectively, her entire career depended on it. 45 minutes with her would definitely satisfy the 2-minute requirement. Jordan nodded to himself, merging back into traffic. Game plan. Show up, spend the 45 minutes making normal conversation without being weird, complete the daily quest, go home. Simple. But then his brain snagged on a different problem. The system. Could he even use it on Calypso? Jordan had 2 slots available. He'd checked the mechanics last night while reading through the system interface. Once he registered someone to a slot, he could track their attraction percentage in real time. Spending money on them generated cashback based on that percentage. The whole thing functioned like a dating sim with financial incentives. But here was the issue. Jordan could only see attraction meters for women who were registered. Right now, both slots sat empty. When he talked to his neighbor this morning or the salon receptionist, nothing had appeared on his screen. No percentages, no prompts, no data. So if he met Calypso without registering her first, he'd be flying completely blind. Which meant he needed to make a decision. Register her as slot 1 or don't bother at all. Jordan chewed his bottom lip, eyes on the road ahead. Long Beach was getting closer. 15 minutes out, according to the GPS. If he registered Calypso and she had 0 attraction to him, that information would hurt. Like actually hurt. Finding out in numerical terms that a woman he'd spent thousands of dollars on viewed him as a walking ATM would be brutal. But if he didn't register her, he'd never know. He'd just continue existing in the same limbo he'd been stuck in for months. Throwing money at women and hoping they'd like him back. Besides, he still had a second slot available. If Calypso turned out to be a disaster, he could register someone else later. This was just a test run. A way to see if the system actually worked in real-world scenarios. Jordan nodded again, this time with more confidence. Test run. That's all this was. The GPS announced his exit. Jordan took the off-ramp and entered a neighborhood that looked like it belonged in a lifestyle magazine. Clean sidewalks, palm trees lining every street, restaurants with outdoor seating full of people who probably had trust funds. His Honda Civic stuck out immediately, surrounded by Teslas and BMWs and one Porsche SUV that cost more than 2 years of tuition. The Ivy appeared on his right. White building with ivy growing up the walls, which felt on the nose. Valet parking out front. A hostess stand visible through the glass doors where a woman in all black stood with a tablet. Jordan checked the time on his dashboard. 2:37 p.m. 23 minutes early. He'd arrived early to almost every interaction with Eliza, sitting in parking lots and convenience store bathrooms, waiting for the appropriate time to walk in so he didn't look desperate. She'd still cheated on him anyway. But showing up to a date in gym shorts was a level of social suicide even the old Jordan wouldn't have risked. Jordan kept driving past the Ivy, scanning the area for options. Across the street, a shopping plaza stretched out with multiple stores. Macy's anchored the far end, its logo visible even from a distance. Perfect. Jordan pulled into the plaza parking lot and found a spot near the Macy's entrance. He killed the engine and sat for a moment, staring at the steering wheel. He had $1,547 in his account right now. Enough to buy an entire new wardrobe if he wanted. But blowing his sign-on bonus on clothes seemed stupid. Budget, $200. Maybe $250 if he found something that actually fit. Jordan climbed out of his car and locked it twice. The automatic doors of Macy's whooshed open, blasting him with cold air and the smell of perfume from the cosmetics section. A woman in her 50s stood behind the Clinique counter, watching him with the expression of someone who'd already decided he couldn't afford anything in the store. Men's section was upstairs according to the directory. Jordan took the escalator, riding up past home goods and women's clothing. The men's section occupied the entire second floor. Racks of dress shirts, jeans, blazers, shoes organized by brand. Way too many options for someone who needed to make a decision in 15 minutes. He headed for the clearance section first. Old habit. Even with money in his account, spending full price on clothes felt wrong. A young guy around Jordan's age worked the floor, refolding shirts on a display table. Name tag said Marcus, which was a weird coincidence considering Jordan had just left a barbershop run by a Marcus. You need help finding something? Not barber, Marcus asked, looking up from his folding. Jordan gestured vaguely at himself. I need to look like I didn't just finish cleaning my apartment. Not Barber Marcus looked Jordan up and down. You got like a date or an interview? Date. Sort of. Budget. 200. Cool. Come with me. Traori's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Not Barber Marcus abandoned his folding station and walked toward the non-clearance section with the confidence of someone who actually knew what he was doing. He pulled a pair of dark jeans off a rack, checked the size, and shoved them at Jordan. 32 waist? Yeah. Try these. They're stretchy so they won't feel like dress pants, but they look cleaner than regular jeans. Next came a white button-up shirt. Plain, no pattern, the kind of shirt that could work for multiple occasions. Not Barber Marcus grabbed a navy blue bomber jacket off a mannequin and added it to the growing pile in Jordan's arms. Shoes? Jordan looked down at his Nikes. White with gray swooshes. Technically clean because he'd washed them 2 months ago, but definitely not date appropriate. What do you have? Not Barber Marcus led him to the shoe section and pointed at a pair of Chelsea boots. Brown leather, low profile, the kind of shoes that said, I'm trying but not too hard. These'll work with the jeans. They're on sale too. 120 before tax. Jordan did the math in his head. Jeans, shirt, jacket, boots. Probably pushing 250 with tax. He'd spent more than that on a single dinner with Eliza. I'll take all of it, Jordan said. Not Barber Marcus raised an eyebrow. You don't want to try them on first? No time. If they don't fit, I'll return them tomorrow. Respect. Not Barber Marcus grabbed the shoebox and headed toward the register. You want the tags off everything so you can wear it out? Yeah. The total came to $263.47. Jordan handed over his metal card without flinching. The transaction went through. Not Barber Marcus bagged the old clothes, removed all the tags from the new stuff, and pointed Jordan toward the bathroom. Good luck with your sort of date, man. Jordan changed in a bathroom stall, pulling on the dark jeans and white button-up. The jeans fit perfectly, sitting right at his waist without being too tight. The shirt was maybe half a size too big, but that worked better than too small. He left the top 2 buttons undone because buttoning all the way to the neck made him look like he was about to ask someone to join a pyramid scheme. The bomber jacket was lightweight, navy blue with ribbed cuffs. Not too formal, not too casual. Jordan laced up the Chelsea boots and stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Holy shit. He looked like a person. An actual functioning person who had his life together. The haircut helped. Marcus had shaped everything perfectly. The color was close enough to natural that it didn't scream, box dye emergency. Combined with the clean clothes and decent shoes, Jordan looked like someone who might actually go on dates instead of paying for them. His phone buzzed in his pocket. 2:51 p.m. 9 minutes until his meeting with Calypso. Jordan left Macy's through the side exit, cutting across the parking lot toward the Ivy. His new boots clicked against the pavement with each step. The restaurant loomed ahead, white walls and actual ivy creating an aesthetic that probably photographed really well for Instagram. His stomach twisted itself into complicated knots. This was happening. He was actually doing this. Jordan pushed through the front door. The hostess looked up from her tablet, giving him a professional smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Welcome to the Ivy. Do you have a reservation? Meeting someone at 3, Jordan said. Don't know if she made one under her name. Name? Jordan froze. Calypso wasn't her real name. Obviously. That was her screen name, her brand, her online persona. He had no idea what her actual government name was because she'd never shared it. All their communication had happened through OnlyFans DMs and one confirmation text this morning. Actually, I'll just wait outside, Jordan said quickly. She should be here soon. The hostess nodded like this was a completely normal response and returned her attention to her tablet. Jordan retreated to the outdoor seating area, finding a bench with a view of the parking lot. Valet attendants stood near the entrance, ready to take keys from people whose cars actually deserved valet service. His phone buzzed again. System notification. Beauty detected in proximity. Warning. No slots currently registered. Would you like to register this beauty to slot 1? Yes. No. Jordan's heart rate spiked immediately. He looked around the outdoor seating area, scanning faces. A woman in her 40s sat at a nearby table with her husband. 2 college-aged girls shared a dessert 3 tables over. An older woman walked a small dog past the restaurant entrance. Which one was Calypso? Then he saw her, walking up the sidewalk from the parking lot. A girl in black jeans and a white crop top. Large sunglasses covering half her face. Black medical mask hiding everything from her nose down. White baseball cap pulled low. And that electric blue streak in her black hair, visible even from a distance. Jordan's mouth went completely dry. She was shorter than he'd expected. Maybe 5'6" in the heeled ankle boots she wore. Her body matched every photo he'd seen online. Hourglass figure, toned stomach visible between her crop top and high-waisted jeans. Thighs thick enough to create a gap at the top when she walked. The system notification pulsed on his screen, waiting for input. Yes. No. Jordan's thumb hovered over the yes button. This was it. The moment of truth. Either he committed to this test run or he backed out and spent the next 45 minutes with zero information. Calypso walked closer. 20 feet away now. 15. She was scanning the outdoor seating area, looking for someone. Looking for him. Jordan pressed yes. His phone screen flashed gold, then transformed into the now familiar interface. Slot 1, registered. Scanning. Name Chloe Kim. Age, 18. Occupation. Student content creator. Current attraction. 8%. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan raised his hand. His heart hammered against his ribs like it was trying to escape. Chloe Kim. The name bounced around his skull. Familiar in a way he couldn't place. Maybe she'd mentioned it in a DM once? Maybe he'd seen it on a class roster somewhere? The name was common enough. Probably just overthinking. Calypso spotted him and waved back, her masked face tilting slightly. She walked toward the bench with small, careful steps. Her hips swayed with each movement, and Jordan forced himself to look at her eyes instead. Well, her sunglasses. She stopped about 3 feet away, close enough to talk but far enough to maintain professional distance. Her chest rose and fell faster than walking warranted. She was nervous. She's nervous. Jordan hadn't expected that. In his head, Calypso was this untouchable figure who controlled every interaction through a screen. Seeing her fidget with the strap of her small crossbody bag made her suddenly, devastatingly real. Hey! Her voice came out slightly higher than in her videos. Hi! Hey! Jordan said, because his brain had apparently decided to shut down all higher functions. Chloe's eyes tracked from his shoes up to his face. She took a full second looking at his hair. I like your hair. It looks really nice. Thanks. Jordan's mouth kept moving without consulting his brain. You're, very beautiful yourself today, Calypso. Chloe laughed behind her mask. The sound was light, genuine. Nothing like the sultry voice she used in her content. It feels weird to be called by that name in public. She glanced around like someone might overhear. Should I call you by your username? Jordan's username was JMCK_2006. Absolutely not. Nah, call me Ricky. Chloe's head tilted. Ricky. Long story. Okay then. She gestured toward the restaurant entrance. Just call me Callie. She moved past him toward the hostess stand, and Jordan caught a whiff of her perfume. Something sweet and clean like vanilla and coconut. The kind of scent that made his monkey brain activate neurons it had no business activating. The hostess looked up as they approached. Hi. I have a reservation for Callie, Chloe said. The hostess checked her tablet, nodded, and grabbed 2 menus. Right this way. Jordan followed Chloe through the outdoor seating area toward a corner table with cushioned chairs and an overhead umbrella. The table was positioned perfectly for photos. Natural lighting, greenery in the background, close enough to the action to feel exclusive but far enough away for privacy. This wasn't accidental. Chloe had picked this spot specifically because it photographed well. They sat down across from each other. Jordan's new boots knocked against the metal table leg. "This spot must be popular if you need a reservation," Jordan said. "Yeah, this place is really nice." Chloe placed her small purse on the chair beside her. "I've been wanting to try it for a while." The hostess left the menus and promised their server would be right with them. Jordan picked up his menu and scanned the prices. $28 for a salad, $36 for a sandwich, $42 for pasta. He had over $1,200 in his account. This was fine. Chloe opened her menu, her sunglasses still firmly in place. Jordan couldn't see her eyes at all. Reading her body language was like trying to solve a puzzle missing half its pieces. "So," Chloe said, "this is weird, right?" "Little bit," Jordan admitted. "I've never done this before." She turned a page in her menu. "The coffee date thing, I mean, you're the first person who actually bought it." Jordan's stomach did a complicated flip. He was the first. The guinea pig. The test run. $3,000 to be a beta tester for an OnlyFans package deal. Great investment. "How long have you been, Jordan trailed off, realizing he had no idea how to finish that sentence politely. "Creating content?" Chloe supplied. 6 months. Started last summer. 6 months. That matched his subscription timeline almost exactly. He'd been there from practically the beginning, watching her go from lingerie photos to more explicit content, from 3 posts a week to daily uploads with personalized DMs. He'd watched her build a business while he spiraled into depression over a girl who never liked him. The server appeared. Young guy, maybe 22, with styled hair and an apron that probably cost more than Jordan's entire outfit. "Welcome to the Ivy. Can I start you both with something to drink?" "Water's fine," Chloe said. "Same," Jordan added. The server nodded and disappeared. Jordan leaned forward slightly. "Hey, I know this whole thing is technically like a business transaction or whatever, but I'm gonna pay for the food. My treat." Chloe's posture stiffened. "You really shouldn't. You already paid $3,000 for." "It's my treat," Jordan interrupted. "Seriously, I'm offering." A pause. Chloe's fingers drummed against her menu. "Okay," she said finally. "Thank you." Jordan's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out slightly, angling the screen away from Chloe's line of sight. Sparkles attraction update Sparkles. Chloe Kim. 8%, 11%, plus 3%. Note. Offering to pay demonstrated provider qualities. Small gain registered. Current rebate rate, 0.22x. Keep going. Jordan slid his phone back into his pocket. 3%. Offering to buy her food earned him 3 whole percentage points. If he'd known the formula was this simple with Eliza, he could have saved himself $4,000 and a Christmas Day parking lot breakdown. The server returned with their waters, asked if they were ready to order, and looked mildly disappointed when both of them said they needed another minute. Chloe studied her menu with the focus of someone actually reading it instead of pretending. Jordan watched her from across the table. She was pretty. Objectively, scientifically pretty. The kind of pretty that made people stop scrolling through social media feeds. But she was also just a girl. 18 years old, probably stressed about school, probably worried about whether this meeting would be awkward or dangerous or both. "Can I ask you something?" Jordan said. Chloe looked up. "Sure. You go to school?" "Yeah." Chloe's voice was careful now. "I'm a freshman. Communications major." "Where at?" A longer pause. Chloe's hand moved to her water glass, turning it in small circles on the table. "I'd rather not say." "Fair. Smart even." Jordan was a stranger to her. A paying stranger, but still a stranger. "That's cool," Jordan said. "I get it. What about you?" Chloe asked, deflecting. You in school? Yeah. Pacific Crest. Business econ. Oh. Something shifted in Chloe's posture. Subtle but there. That's a good school. Expensive school, Jordan corrected. Good is still TBD. Chloe laughed again behind her mask. The sound made Jordan's chest do something stupid. Stop it, he told his chest. She's at 11%. 11% is nothing. The server came back. They ordered. Chloe got the grilled chicken salad, $28. Jordan got a burger, $32. When the server left, silence settled over the table like fog. Chloe played with her straw wrapper. Jordan drank his water. The outdoor seating area hummed with other conversations. Other people living their normal lives where they hadn't paid $3,000 to sit across from someone wearing sunglasses and a mask. So, Chloe started. What made you want to do this? The coffee date thing. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan could tell her the truth. That his ex-girlfriend cheated on him with a guy who looked like he modeled for Abercrombie catalogs in his spare time. That he spent 2 weeks in a gooning spiral. That he'd rage-bought this package at 2 in the morning while crying and eating gas station ramen. Or he could lie and say something normal. Curiosity, I guess, Jordan said, picking the middle ground. You seem cool. Thought it'd be interesting to meet you in person. Chloe nodded slowly. That's probably the healthiest answer I could have gotten. What were the other options? Obsession. Parasocial fantasy. Secret plans to follow me home. She said it casually, but Jordan heard the edge underneath. This was her job. Meeting strangers from the internet for money. Of course she'd thought through worst-case scenarios. Of course she'd probably told a friend where she was going and when to call if she didn't check in. None of those, Jordan said. Promise. I'm just a guy who made a financially questionable decision and is now committed to seeing it through. Financially questionable is an understatement. Chloe leaned back in her chair. $3,000 is a lot of money. Yeah, well, Jordan picked at a thread on his napkin. It was a weird week. Their food arrived faster than expected. The server placed the plates down with practiced efficiency, asked if they needed anything else, and vanished when they both shook their heads. Chloe stared at her salad. Jordan stared at his burger. This feels weird, right? Chloe said. Like, I do this thing online where I'm this character, and now I'm sitting here in real life and I don't know how to be that person without a camera. So don't be, Jordan said. Be whoever you are when the camera's off. Chloe pulled down her mask just enough to take a bite of salad. Jordan caught a glimpse of her lips, plump and pink, before the mask went back up. His brain short-circuited for a full second. Breathe. Normal breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't be weird. That's easier said than done, Chloe said after swallowing. The whole point of doing this anonymously is so I can keep those parts of my life separate. Then why'd you offer the coffee dates at all? Money. She said it flat, no shame. The package was $3,000. Do you know how long it takes to make that much from regular content? A month, maybe 2 if engagement's good. So this is purely transactional, Jordan said. Yeah. Chloe stabbed a piece of chicken with her fork. I mean, no offense. You seem nice. But I don't know you. None taken. Jordan bit into his burger. The flavor exploded across his tongue, beef and cheese and sauce combining into something that probably justified the $32 price tag. His phone buzzed again. Sparkles transaction pending Sparkles. Estimated meal cost, $60 plus tip. Current attraction, 11%. Rebate calculation, 0.22x multiplier. Projected return, $13.20. Net loss, $46.80. Proceed. Jordan closed the notification. $46 down the drain for this meal. Plus the $3,000 he'd already spent. Plus the $263 on his new outfit. Can I ask you something else? Jordan said. Sure. Do you like doing it? The content creation thing. Chloe set down her fork. Her sunglasses reflected Jordan's face back at him, twin versions of himself staring from dark lenses. Sometimes, she said finally, it's good money. I can make my own schedule. I don't have to answer to anyone. But it's exhausting. She picked up her fork again, pushing lettuce around her plate. Keeping up with DMs, editing photos, coming up with new content ideas, pretending to care about every subscriber's fantasy. It's a lot. You don't have to pretend with me, Jordan said. Chloe looked up. What? I'm not expecting you to be Calypso right now. We're just two people eating overpriced food and having a conversation. You can drop the act. A long silence. Then Chloe laughed. Really laughed this time, not the professional giggle from her videos. Her shoulders shook. You're weird, Ricky. I get that a lot. She pulled her mask down again to take another bite. This time Jordan forced himself not to stare at her mouth like a creep. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. The sun filtered through the umbrella above them, creating patterns on the white tablecloth. Other diners chatted and laughed around them. Someone at a nearby table was celebrating a birthday, the staff bringing out a dessert with a single candle. So what's your deal? Chloe asked. Business econ major. Expensive school. Dropping $3,000 on a coffee date with an internet stranger. You don't exactly scream trust fund, baby. My parents own convenience stores, Jordan said. 3 of them. Comfortable, not rich. And they're paying for Pacific Crest? Yeah. That's $45,000 a year. Jordan blinked. How'd you know that? Lucky guess, she said quickly. All private schools are expensive. Jordan's brain started connecting dots it probably shouldn't connect. Communications major. Freshman. 18 years old. Pacific Crest's tuition down to the dollar. No way. You go to Pacific Crest, Jordan said. Chloe's water glass stopped halfway to her mouth. What? You go to Pacific Crest, Jordan repeated. That's why you knew the exact tuition. That's why you didn't want to say where you go to school. Chloe set her glass down carefully. You're reading into things. Am I? Her jaw worked behind the mask. Her fingers drummed against the table. If I did go there, she said slowly, which I'm not confirming, it would be a really bad idea for you to know that. Because my entire business model depends on anonymity. If someone from campus recognized me, I'm done. Scholarship gone. Social life gone. Everything gone. Jordan held up his hands. I'm not gonna say anything. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. Jordan leaned back in his chair. I've got my own shit I don't want getting around campus. We can both keep secrets. Chloe studied him. The sunglasses made it impossible to read her expression. What kind of secrets? She asked. The kind where my ex cheated on me on Christmas, and I spent 2 weeks in my apartment crying and eating ramen, Jordan said. Not exactly something I'm putting on my resume. Oh, Chloe's voice softened. That sucks. Yeah. Is that why you bought the coffee date? Rebound thing? Probably. Jordan picked up his burger again. Like I said, weird week. His phone buzzed one more time. Sparkles attraction update Sparkles. Chloe Kim. 11%, 15%, plus 4%. Note. Vulnerability and shared secrets build trust. Moderate gain registered. Current rebate rate, 0.30x. You're doing better than expected. 15%. Still terrible. Still in the red. But better than 8. Jordan finished his burger. Chloe finished her salad. The server brought the check without being asked, and Jordan handed over his card before Chloe could protest again. Total. $73.42 including tip. The transaction went through. Jordan's phone pinged with the rebate notification. Sparkles transaction complete Sparkles. Amount spent, $73.42. Chloe Kim attraction, 15%. Rebate, $22.03. 0.30x multiplier. Net loss, $51.39. Keep building that chemistry. $51 in the hole. Jordan pocketed his phone and stood. Chloe stood too, adjusting her purse strap. "So," she said, "that was the 45 minutes. Jordan checked his watch. 3:47 p.m. They'd actually gone 7 minutes over. "Yeah," he said. "This was..." Chloe trailed off, searching for words. "Not what I expected." "Good unexpected or bad unexpected?" "Good, I think." She pulled her mask up higher. "You're not as creepy as I thought you'd be. Bars on the floor, but I'll take it." Chloe laughed one more time. "Thanks for lunch, Ricky." They walked toward the parking lot together, the silence between them easier now. Less performative, less transactional. Chloe stopped next to a silver Honda Civic. Jordan stopped next to his white Honda Civic 3 spaces over. They both stared at each other's cars. "No way," Chloe said. 2019? Jordan asked. 2020. Close enough. Chloe shook her head, still smiling behind her mask. She opened her car door, then paused. "Hey, Ricky." "Yeah. If I do see you on campus." She bit her lip. "Just pretend you don't know me. Okay? Deal." She climbed into her car and started the engine. Jordan watched her back out of the parking space and drive toward the exit. When her car disappeared around the corner, Jordan finally let out the breath he'd been holding. His phone buzzed with one final notification. Confetti Ball Daily Quest Complete Confetti Ball. Path to Becoming Adonis. Reward, 3 quest tickets. Total tickets, 13. New achievement unlocked. First date, technically. Bonus, plus 5 quest tickets. Total tickets, 18. Gotcha system now accessible. Jordan climbed into his Civic, rested his forehead against the steering wheel, and laughed until his stomach hurt. He'd just spent $73 to learn that his OnlyFans crush went to his school. The universe had a really fucked up sense of humor. Traore's thoughts. "Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face." Chloe pulled into the side street before the light even changed. Old habit. She always had an exit. She cut the engine and sat with both hands on the wheel, watching the parking lot exit in her rearview mirror. The Ivy's valet stand glowed white in the afternoon sun. A BMW pulled out. Then a Tesla. Then a woman in Lululemon loading shopping bags into a Range Rover. No white Civic. Good. She counted to 30 in her head. Then counted to 30 again. This was so stupid. The thought hit her the same way it always did after these dates, right when the professional mask started peeling. Like her brain waited until she was alone to start screaming at her. This was so stupid, Chloe. She'd picked Long Beach specifically because no one from Pacific Crest would be caught dead at the Ivy on a Tuesday afternoon. The clientele skewed 40+, the menu had nothing vegan, and there was no street parking for showing off. It was safe. It was supposed to be safe. And then Ricky showed up. Ricky, who knew the exact tuition at Pacific Crest. Chloe pressed her forehead against the steering wheel and let out a sound that didn't belong to either version of her. She'd dug herself into a corner on that one. She'd slipped up because he'd seemed so normal, asking genuine questions with his stupid newly cut hair and his bomber jacket that still had the fold lines from the store packaging. She'd let her guard down for 4 seconds and suddenly they were playing a guessing game about her school. The worst part? She'd confirmed it. Not out loud, but she'd hesitated. And hesitation was the same as a confession to anyone paying attention. And Ricky had been paying attention. She exhaled through her nose. Okay. Damage assessment. He knew she went to Pacific Crest. He didn't know her name. He didn't know what she looked like without the mask and sunglasses. Her blue streaks were distinctive, but blue streaks weren't exactly rare on a college campus. She'd be fine. She just needed him to be the kind of person who kept his word. "If I do see you on campus, just pretend you don't know me," he'd said. Deal. No negotiation. No condition attached. Just deal like it was the easiest thing he'd been asked all afternoon. She replayed the whole date in her head. picking it apart the way she did with every interaction that deviated from the script. He hadn't simped. That was the first thing. Most of her coffee date clients showed up with this eager, slightly unhinged energy, talking too fast and laughing at everything she said. One guy had literally brought her flowers, which, given that she was wearing a face mask and sunglasses in a public restaurant, had been genuinely insane. Ricky had just sat down and asked if she wanted to hear his honest answer about why he'd bought the package. He'd also let her eat in silence. Nobody ever did that. She'd lowered her mask twice. For bites of salad, yes, but still. She didn't do that. The mask stayed on. The mask was part of the deal she'd made with herself before the first coffee date, before the first subscriber, before any of this. Ricky had made her forget the rule twice. A white Civic rolled past the side street entrance. Chloe sat up immediately, fingers going tight on the wheel. She watched the car continue down the main road. No brake lights, no hesitation. Not looking for a side street. Not looking for her. She released a long breath that deflated her whole chest. Okay. He wasn't following her. Good. He was a normal, non-stalker person who'd bought a package, showed up, had lunch and went home. This was fine. She was catastrophizing because she always catastrophized after dates. It was a reflex at this point, as automatic as checking her ring light before she hit record. She gave it another minute, then started the engine. Merging back onto the main road felt like surfacing from underwater. The afternoon traffic had thickened, people leaving work early or heading to school pickups, and Chloe slid into the flow of it with both hands steady. The radio came on automatically. Some pop song she didn't recognize with a key change in the chorus that was technically impressive but emotionally hollow. She turned it off. The silence felt better. She thought better in silence, always had. Her dad used to say she was born humming, that even as a baby she'd make little melodic sounds instead of crying, like she was already composing something. He'd said it like it was the best thing about her. I want to hear your song on the radio before I go. He'd told her. This was 2 months before the diagnosis got a name, 4 months before it got a timeline, 6 months before it killed him. He'd been so certain she'd get there. That kind of certainty, the bone-deep, no question about it kind, was something Chloe had never managed to feel about herself, not once. She used about $800 a month from Calypso's earnings toward her mom's medical payments. The rest covered housing, food, Daniel's college fund, and maintaining the appearance of a girl who belonged at Pacific Crest. The singing lessons were $120 every other week, which was a luxury she could technically cut. But she didn't. She wouldn't. That money kept the promise alive in the most literal way she knew how. One day the account would be big enough, stable enough that she could actually focus on music. That was the plan. The plan required her to not get exposed on a random afternoon because she'd slipped up talking to a subscriber about tuition pricing. Traffic slowed at the light ahead. Chloe coasted to a stop and that's when she saw it. White Civic. 3 cars ahead. Same year as hers, maybe one newer. She could see the back of a head through the rear windshield. Hair that was dark at the sides and lighter on top. Her stomach did something uncomfortable. She was probably wrong. There were 1 million white Civics in Southern California. They were the most statistically average car on the road. This meant nothing. The light changed. Traffic moved. She stayed in her lane. The white Civic stayed in her lane too. She told herself it was nothing. She told herself that at the next light when the car was still there. She told herself that when they passed the Pacific Crest campus turnoff and the car didn't take it. The campus turnoff. He hadn't taken it. He didn't live in the dorms. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Chloe's hands adjusted on the wheel. She checked her mirrors. She was 4 cars back now, but it was definitely a white Civic, and the hair was definitely the same hair she'd been looking at for 45 minutes over a table at the Ivy. The neighborhood around them was shifting. Fewer chain restaurants, more independent coffee shops and converted industrial buildings. She recognized the route because she drove it every single day. He was not heading toward campus. He was not heading toward campus, and she was also not heading toward campus, and they had been in the same lane for 11 blocks. She slowed down slightly, created more distance between their cars. She changed lanes, moved into the right lane, watched to see if he'd follow. He didn't. He stayed left, steady, not checking his mirrors more than normal. Okay, so he wasn't tracking her. He was just driving somewhere in her direction. Chloe ran through all the logical explanations. He lived nearby. He was going to a friend's place. He was running an errand. LA bled into multiple residential neighborhoods, and the Cooper Garment District was walkable from at least 3 different arterial roads. Plenty of people lived around there. The white Civic's left blinker came on at the light before the building. Chloe watched him take the right turn instead. She exhaled so hard her whole body deflated. Right turn. He turned right. She was going straight. He was going right. They were done sharing a road. This was just a coincidence that she turned into a 20-minute anxiety spiral because she was still running on the adrenaline of accidentally confirming her school to a subscriber. She drove the last 4 blocks to the building with both hands loose on the wheel. The Cooper Garment Lofts came into view the same way it always did, this big converted factory that looked expensive because the developer had kept all the original industrial details and just added good lighting and a doorman. Chloe pulled into the resident parking structure and found her spot, killed the engine, and sat for a moment with the silence pressing in around her. The parking garage smelled like concrete and motor oil. Fluorescent lights flickered slightly above the 3rd row. Somewhere deeper in the structure, a car alarm was doing its short chirp as someone locked up. She checked her phone. 3 DMs from subscribers she hadn't responded to yet. A notification from her tracking spreadsheet reminding her that her next content post was scheduled for tomorrow. A text from her mom, sent at noon, that said simply, "Did you eat lunch? Love you." Chloe typed back, "Yes. Something nice. Love you too." She deleted the first version, which had said, "Yes, with a subscriber who might go to my school," and sent the second version instead. She climbed out of the car, pulled her cap down, and took the elevator to the 4th floor. The hallway was quiet. It usually was at this hour, that gap between 3 and 5 when the building's other residents were still at work or class. Her heels clicked against the polished concrete floor. She reached Unit 403, pressed her thumb to the keypad, and pushed inside. The apartment received her in the way it always did, clean and orderly and exactly how she'd left it. The fiddle leaf fig near the window caught the afternoon light, looking lush and full and completely fake. The gray sectional was perfect. Throw pillows arranged the same way they always were. The coffee table holding the magazines she never actually read and the diptyque-adjacent candle she'd refilled twice now with a cheaper substitute. Chloe dropped her purse on the counter and pulled the mask down. She stood in her kitchen for a moment, just breathing. Then she took off the sunglasses and the cap and set them on the counter beside the purse. And she pressed both palms flat against the cold quartz and just stood there, feeling the realness of the surface under her hands. The thing about playing a character for money was that eventually you forgot what you felt like when no one was watching. Calypso was professional and carefully warm, giving subscribers just enough that they felt seen without giving them anything real. Chloe Kim, the campus version, was bright and social and slightly airhead about things that didn't matter, which made her easy to like and easy to underestimate. Both of those people had scripts. Both of them knew their marks. 45 minutes in a restaurant with a stranger who told her to just be herself had left her feeling like she'd been caught mid-change between the 2 versions. Neither one fully present. Both of them slightly off. She filled a glass of water and drank half of it standing at the sink. Ricky had been honest about his ex. Not in a weepy, oversharing way, just flat and direct, like the embarrassment of the story had already settled into something he could carry without collapsing. "Weird week," he'd said. She'd done enough DMs with enough subscribers to know when someone was performing vulnerability versus just stating a fact. He'd been stating a fact. She hadn't known what to do with that. She still didn't. Chloe pushed off the counter and headed upstairs to the loft. The ring light in the corner stood dormant, its 3 circles reflecting the afternoon light through the big factory windows. She sat down in front of the iMac and opened the spreadsheet without thinking, muscle memory taking over. Current month's earnings sat at $6,200 and change. Medical payment due on the 15th. Daniel's transfer scheduled for the 20th. Rent on the 1st. Singing lesson this Thursday at 4. She updated the coffee date income, adding $3,000 to the column. The number was right. The math worked. This was what the date had been for. She looked at the number for a long time. Thanks for lunch, Ricky. It hadn't felt transactional at the end. That was the problem. It had just felt like lunch with someone who wasn't trying to impress her, which was a novel enough experience that she'd apparently logged it separately from all the other data she'd collected today. Chloe closed the spreadsheet and opened her content schedule. Tomorrow's post needed a caption. Thursday's shoot needed a concept. She had 47 DMs sitting in the queue that she'd get to tonight after homework. She opened a blank document for her caption ideas and put her fingers on the keyboard. The cursor blinked at her. She typed, "Sometimes the best thing someone can say to you is nothing at all." She deleted it. Way too real for the Calypso account. She stared at the empty document. From down the hall, somewhere on the 4th floor, she heard the muffled thud of a door closing. Probably just a neighbor. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan sat cross-legged on his bathroom floor with his phone propped against a stack of CeraVe products that had cost him $83.47 at Target. The YouTube video played at half speed because the guy doing the tutorial moved his hands like he was performing surgery on diamonds. Alright kings, first step is cleanser. You're gonna take about a nickel-sized amount and work it into your face using circular motions. Jordan squeezed the white tube. Way too much product came out. He tried to put some back, but it just smeared on his palm instead. $80 for this. He rubbed the cleanser across his face, feeling it foam up under his fingers. The smell was clinical, medical, like a hospital had turned into soap. Jordan scrubbed for the full 60 seconds the video recommended, counting silently while the YouTuber explained how most men underwash their faces, which leads to clogged pores, which leads to acne, which leads to dying alone and unloved. Okay, the video didn't say that last part, but it was implied. Jordan rinsed with lukewarm water the way the instructions demanded, not hot, not cold, because apparently temperature was important when you were trying to stop looking like someone who'd spent 2 weeks eating pizza in the dark. He grabbed the towel and patted his face dry. Patted, not rubbed. The video had been very specific about that. Step 2, kings. Toner. This is where most guys mess up because they skip it entirely. Jordan looked at the bottle of toner sitting on the bathroom counter next to the moisturizer, the sunscreen, the eye cream, and the lip balm. 5 products. He used to just splash water on his face in the morning and call it good. He poured toner onto a cotton pad and swiped it across his skin. The pad came away slightly gray, which meant there was still dirt on his face even after washing. Gross. He did another pass until the cotton came away clean. Now we're prepping the skin for hydration. Your face is like a sponge, and right now it's ready to absorb everything you're about to give it. The video transitioned to a close-up of the guy's hands applying moisturizer in upward strokes. Jordan mimicked the motion, feeling the cream sink into his cheeks and forehead. His skin felt different already. Softer, maybe. Or maybe that was just wishful thinking after spending enough money on skincare to buy groceries for a week. Sunscreen came next. SPF 50 because the video guy had spent 3 minutes explaining how sun damage was cumulative and irreversible, and if Jordan didn't start protecting his skin now, he'd look like a leather couch by 30. Jordan squeezed out 2 fingers worth of sunscreen and spread it across his face and neck. The white cast made him look like a ghost for about 10 seconds before it absorbed. He checked his reflection in the mirror above the sink. Same face. Same hazel eyes. Same sharp jaw that was only visible now that he'd lost some of the puffiness from his terrible diet. Same guy who'd gotten cheated on in a parking lot 3 weeks ago. But cleaner, at least. The video ended with the guy reminding everyone to stay consistent because results took time and discipline. Jordan closed the app and checked his phone. Heart with ribbon daily quest. Path to becoming Adonis. Objectives. E. Physical. Log 90 minutes of physical activity. E. Hygiene level 1. Shower using actual soap. E. Hygiene level 2. Brush teeth for a full 2 minutes. Floss. E. Grooming. Apply basic skincare, Washington moisturize. Sunscreen. E. Social. Speak to 3 different beauties for 2 minutes each. 2 check marks appeared next to the social objective. 2. Not 3. Jordan stared at the screen. That wasn't possible. He talked to Calypso for 45 minutes straight over lunch at the Ivy. They'd had an actual conversation where she dropped her professional mask and he didn't act like a simp. The system had pinged him multiple times during the meal, tracking attraction increases and rebate calculations. It had definitely registered her as a beauty. So why didn't it count? Jordan opened the quest details and read the fine print at the bottom. Requirement. Maintain eye contact. Do not apologize for existing. Do not offer to buy them anything. Do not offer to buy them anything. Jordan had insisted on paying for lunch. He'd framed it as his treat, not part of the $3,000 package, but the system apparently didn't care about his reasoning. An offer was an offer. The moment he'd pulled out his wallet, the conversation had been disqualified. Are you kidding me? He scrolled through the system's transaction log. The Ivy lunch showed up with full details. $73 spent, 11 to 15% attraction gain, rebate applied, net loss recorded. But no quest credit. Jordan threw his head back and laughed because the alternative was putting his fist through drywall. The system was teaching him a lesson. Stop buying affection. Stop using money as a substitute for actual personality. The rules were clear and he'd broken them by reflex. Fine. Okay. He still had 2 completed interactions logged from earlier today. Jordan pulled up the history. Beauty 1. 8:47 a.m. Duration, 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Location, 4th floor hallway. Beauty 2, 11:23 a.m. Duration, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Location, salon reception desk. Jordan froze. The woman from the salon had been the second beauty. That made sense. She'd been in her mid-20s, professional, attractive. Jordan had asked about pricing and she'd explained the packages while he tried not to look like he was panicking about his budget. But the first beauty had been at 8:47 a.m. in the 4th floor hallway of his building. The girl with the baseball cap and the blue hair streaks who'd asked if he'd heard a party last night. Jordan pulled up his mental image of Calypso walking toward him outside the Ivy. White baseball cap, black mask, sunglasses, black hair with electric blue streaks that were clearly visible even from 30 feet away. Oh no. No. Jordan had promised Chloe that if they ran into each other on campus, he'd pretend not to know her. He'd given his word. Made it sound easy. But they didn't go to the same campus. They lived in the same building. Unit 403. Right next door. Jordan sat on his bathroom floor with his face covered in $60 skincare products and processed the reality that his OnlyFans crush was his next-door neighbor. The girl he'd spent $2,000 on over 6 months lived approximately 12 feet away from him, separated by one wall and a hallway. The system had registered her this morning when she'd stepped out of Unit 403 wearing casual clothes and no mask. Then it had registered her again at lunch when he'd deliberately clicked the registration button outside the Ivy. But it was the same person. Chloe Kim, 18 years old. Student and content creator, currently sitting at 15% attraction after their coffee date. Currently living next door. Jordan needed to confirm this before his brain short-circuited entirely. He could just let it go. Pretend he hadn't figured it out. Keep his head down and avoid eye contact in the hallway like a normal person who wasn't obsessed with tracking percentage points on a supernatural phone app. Or he could knock on Unit 403 right now and ask to borrow sugar like a sitcom character from 1987. If the person who answered wasn't Chloe, then he'd just met a new neighbor and could stop spiraling. If the person who answered was Chloe, then he'd have to deal with the fact that they were living next to each other and pretending otherwise was going to get really complicated really fast. Jordan stood up. His legs protested from being folded on tile for 20 minutes. He grabbed his keys off the bathroom counter and walked downstairs to the front door, pausing only to check his reflection one more time. His face looked good, clean, put together, like someone who might reasonably need to borrow sugar from a neighbor because he'd run out while baking cookies or whatever normal people did with sugar. Jordan opened his door and stepped into the hallway. The fourth floor was still quiet. No sounds from the other units. Just the low hum of the building's ventilation system and the distant echo of traffic 4 stories below. Jordan walked 3 steps to the left and stopped in front of Unit 403. The door was solid wood painted matte black with a brushed steel number plate. Identical to his own door except for the number and the fact that Chloe Kim might be standing on the other side of it. Jordan raised his hand and knocked 3 times. Thud, thud, thud. Nothing. He waited, counted to 10. Tried to hear movement inside the apartment but the walls were too thick. Maybe she wasn't home. Maybe she'd driven somewhere after leaving the Ivy. Maybe this was all a massive coincidence and the girl from this morning had been someone else entirely. Footsteps approached from inside. Light, quick steps that got louder as they crossed the apartment. The lock clicked. The door opened. Chloe stood in the doorway wearing the same white crop top and black jeans from lunch, but the mask and sunglasses were gone. Her face was bare, her dark eyes tired but alert. The blue streak in her hair caught the hallway light. She looked at Jordan. Jordan looked at her. Her eyes went wide. "Hi," Jordan said. "Can I borrow some?" Chloe slammed the door shut so hard the frame rattled. Traore's thoughts. "Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face." Jordan stood in the hallway staring at the closed door. His brain needed approximately 5 seconds to catch up with what had just happened. Chloe Kim had answered the door. The real Chloe Kim, without a mask or sunglasses or any of the protective layers she wore at the Ivy. She'd looked him directly in the face and then slammed the door hard enough to make the hinges shake. "Okay, cool. This was fine." Jordan knocked again. "Callie? That's you, right?" Silence. He tried for a casual tone like this was totally normal and not the weirdest coincidence of his entire life. "Who knew we were neighbors, haha? Small world." The lock clicked. The door opened exactly 3 inches. Chloe's face appeared in the gap. Her eyes narrowed to dangerous slits. She pressed one finger against her lips in the universal gesture for "shut the hell up right now." SHHHH. She looked left, then right, then left again like she was checking for snipers. A door opened down the hallway. Unit 405. An older woman with silver hair pulled into a neat bun poked her head out. She wore a lavender cardigan and pearl earrings that probably cost more than Jordan's car. Her sharp eyes assessed the situation with obvious interest. Miss Valentine. Jordan had seen her exactly twice since moving in. Both times she'd been leaving the building carrying expensive shopping bags. Chloe's entire demeanor changed in an instant. The panic disappeared. A bright smile replaced it. She lifted one hand and waved. "Hi, Miss Valentine. Just meeting my new neighbor." Miss Valentine's smile was knowing. "How lovely. You young people enjoy yourselves." Chloe's hand shot out and grabbed Jordan's wrist. She yanked him forward with surprising strength for someone 5'6". Jordan stumbled over the threshold as Chloe pulled him into Unit 403 and slammed the door behind him. Thud. The lock clicked again. The chain rattled into place. Jordan stood in the entryway catching his balance while Chloe pressed her back against the door like she was holding off a zombie invasion. From the hallway, Miss Valentine's voice drifted through the wood. "Ah, young love." Her door closed with a soft click. Chloe's shoulders sagged. She exhaled slowly through her nose. Jordan looked around the apartment because looking at Chloe right now felt dangerous. Whoa, this was his first time inside a girl's apartment. His actual first time. Eliza had never invited him to her place. She'd always insisted on meeting at restaurants or coffee shops or his apartment that one time she'd needed to borrow his laptop charger. But this space looked like it belonged in a lifestyle magazine. The floors were clean concrete without a single scuff mark. A gray sectional sat perfectly arranged with throw pillows that matched. A glass coffee table held a neat stack of fashion magazines that looked like they'd never been opened. A fake plant stood in the corner looking somehow more alive than real plants Jordan had killed. The kitchen gleamed. White quartz countertops. Stainless steel appliances that actually reflected light instead of collecting grease. No dishes in the sink. No takeout containers anywhere. Even the air smelled good. Like vanilla and clean laundry and something else he couldn't identify. His apartment was literally 12 feet away through one wall, and it looked like a different dimension compared to this. This girl lives next door. She has blue hair and makes $6,200 a month posting pictures online, and her apartment looks like a Pinterest board came to life. And she just dragged me inside like we're in a spy movie. Chloe finally moved away from the door. Her breathing came fast and shallow. She walked to the kitchen and gripped the edge of the counter, closing her eyes. Calm down. Just calm down. Breathe. Jordan rubbed the back of his head. Sorry. Chloe's eyes snapped open. She turned around and glared at him with an expression that could melt steel. Her lips pressed together in a pout that was way too cute for someone who looked ready to throw him off the balcony. Jordan's brain short-circuited. That face. She's making that face, and it's not fair because she's supposed to be scary right now, but instead she looks like an angry kitten. Chloe walked toward him. Each step was slow and intentional. Her bare feet made no sound on the concrete floor. Jordan stayed frozen in place. She stopped exactly 2 feet away and crossed her arms under her chest. The motion pushed everything up. Her crop top did absolutely nothing to hide the shape. Jordan kept his eyes on her face. Do not look down. Do not look down. You are a gentleman who respects women, and also she will literally kill you if you look down right now. Did you know? Her voice was quiet. Dangerous. What? Did you know? Jordan held up both hands in surrender. No. I had no idea. Honest. I just figured it out like 10 minutes ago when I realized the blue-haired girl I talked to this morning was the same person from lunch. Chloe's eyes narrowed further. You expect me to believe that? Yes? Because it's true. You knocked on my door. I needed to confirm it wasn't just a weird coincidence. By knocking on my door and saying my name in the hallway where anyone could hear, Jordan winced. Okay, that part was maybe not the smartest move. Maybe. Her glare intensified. Jordan had never seen someone look this angry, while also looking like they belonged on the cover of a magazine. Her cheeks had flushed pink. Her blue eyes were practically glowing. His heart was doing something weird in his chest. Probably panic. Definitely panic. This was panic and not anything else, because acknowledging anything else would be incredibly stupid given the circumstances. Chloe took another step forward. Now they were maybe 12 inches apart. Close enough that Jordan could see the faint freckles on her nose that didn't show up in her photos. Close enough to smell whatever shampoo she used. Something floral. How long have you lived here? For months. For months. She said it like an accusation. You've been here for 4 months and we never ran into each other once. I don't leave my apartment much. Why not? Jordan considered lying. Considered making up some excuse about being busy with school or work or literally anything that didn't make him sound like a pathetic shut-in who spent 1 to 2 weeks gooning in the dark after getting cheated on. But Chloe had been honest with him at lunch. She'd admitted her coffee dates were purely transactional. She'd told him her online persona wasn't real. So Jordan went with the truth. Because I was kind of a mess. Still am, actually. I'm just trying to be less of one. Chloe blinked. The glare softened slightly. What kind of mess? The kind where my ex cheated on me on Christmas and I spent my winter break eating pizza and watching League of Legends streams at 3 a.m. That's rough. Yeah. Silence stretched between them. Not awkward exactly. More like both of them were trying to figure out what came next. Jordan's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out and checked the screen. Sparkles Attraction update Sparkles. Chloe Kim. 15%, 12%. Minus 3%. A shit. Equals. Traore's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1. Extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan slid his phone back into his pocket. Chloe tilted her head. What was that? Nothing. Your phone lit up. Just a notification. Show me. It's not important. Chloe reached for his pocket. Jordan stepped back. She froze with her hand extended. Her eyes went wide. Oh God. She thinks you're scared of her. Say something. Anything. I'm not scared of you. Then why did you just back up? Because personal space is a thing? Chloe's hand dropped. She stepped back and crossed her arms again. The pout returned. Fine. Don't show me. Jordan's brain scrambled for a way to change the subject. Your apartment is really nice. Thank you. Like really nice. Mine used to look like a crime scene compared to this. I saw your trash bags this morning. Jordan felt his face heat up. Yeah, that was a thing. Chloe's lips twitched. Not quite a smile. Closed though. How many bags was it? 8. 8. That's impressive. Not in a good way. No, not in a good way. She was definitely smiling now. Small but there. The glare had disappeared entirely. Jordan relaxed slightly. Maybe she wasn't gonna throw him off the balcony after all. Chloe uncrossed her arms and moved to the gray sectional. She sat down and pulled a throw pillow into her lap. So you really didn't know. I really didn't know. And you're not some creepy stalker who engineered this whole thing. I'm not smart enough to engineer something like this. Chloe laughed. That's probably true. Hey! You knocked on my door and said my fake name in the hallway. You're not exactly a criminal mastermind. Fair point. Jordan stayed by the door because sitting down felt presumptuous. For the record, I was going to ask to borrow sugar. Sugar? Yeah, like a normal neighbor. Do you even bake? No. Then why would you need sugar? I don't know. It's what people do in movies. Chloe shook her head, but she was still smiling. You're ridiculous. I'm aware. His phone buzzed again. Jordan ignored it. Chloe noticed. You can check that. It's fine. It's clearly not fine. You keep fidgeting. Jordan pulled out his phone. Sparkles attraction update Sparkles. Chloe Kim. 12%, 17%, plus 5%. He closed the app and shoved the phone back in his pocket. Chloe watched him carefully. Is it important? Just spam. You're a terrible liar. I know. She patted the couch cushion next to her. Sit down. You're making me nervous standing by the door like you're about to run. Jordan hesitated. Chloe raised an eyebrow. I'm not going to bite. That's not helping. He crossed the apartment and sat on the opposite end of the sectional, keeping a full cushion between them. The couch was incredibly comfortable, like sitting on an expensive cloud. Chloe pulled her knees up and wrapped her arms around them. This is weird, she said. Yeah. We had lunch today. I know. And now you're in my apartment. I know. And we live next door to each other. I'm very aware. Chloe rested her chin on her knees. What are we supposed to do now? Jordan had no idea. His brain was still processing the fact that he was sitting on a couch in a girl's apartment and the girl was someone he'd spent $2,000 on over 6 months and also his next-door neighbor and also currently looking at him like he was supposed to have answers. We could pretend this never happened, Jordan offered. Can you do that? Probably not. Me neither. Silence again. Less tense this time. More thoughtful. Chloe picked at a loose thread. You can't tell anyone. I won't. I'm serious. Not your friends. Not your roommate. I don't have a roommate. Not anyone. I get it. Your secret's safe. Chloe studied his face like she was trying to determine if he was telling the truth. Jordan kept his expression open. He had zero intention of revealing Chloe's identity to anyone because doing that would make him an absolute piece of garbage, and also she knew where he lived. Finally, Chloe nodded. Okay. But if you yell out my name again, I'm calling the cops. Jordan raised both hands. Understood. No more door knocking. I'll pretend you don't exist. Good. Even though we share a wall. Especially because we share a wall. Jordan's phone buzzed a third time. He checked it before Chloe could ask. Sparkle's attraction update Sparkles. Chloe Kim. 17%, 20%, plus 3%. Chloe leaned forward slightly. Good news. Something like that. You're being mysterious. It's complicated. Try me. Jordan considered explaining the system. The attraction meters. The cashback mechanics. The slots he couldn't change once registered. All of it sounded completely insane when he tried to put it into words. I'm just trying to get my life together, Jordan said instead. One step at a time. Chloe's expression softened. That's a good goal. What about you? What about me? Are you trying to get your life together too? Chloe laughed quietly. I don't think my life was ever together to begin with. She stood up and walked to the kitchen. Do you want water? Sure. She pulled 2 glasses from a cabinet and filled them at the sink. She handed one glass to Jordan and kept the other. Thanks. Chloe leaned against the counter. So, neighbors. Neighbors. This is going to be awkward. Extremely. We should set ground rules. Jordan took a sip of water. Like what? No knocking unless it's an emergency. Agreed. No mentioning anything about today if we see each other on campus. Obviously. And no weird looks in the hallway. Define weird. Chloe shot him a look. You know what I mean. Jordan grinned. Yeah, I know what you mean. She rolled her eyes, but she was smiling again. You're annoying. I've been told that before. I believe it. Jordan finished his water and set the glass on the coffee table. He should probably leave. Give Chloe her space back. Stop taking up room in her apartment like some kind of awkward intruder. But he didn't want to leave, which was a problem. Chloe checked her phone. I have homework, right? Yeah. I should go. Jordan stood up. His legs worked perfectly now. No soreness. No exhaustion. Just normal functional legs like he hadn't spent 5 hours hauling trash and scrubbing grout earlier. Chloe walked him to the door and unlocked it. She kept the chain on for a second, peering through the gap to make sure the hallway was empty. Coast clear. She opened the door fully and Jordan stepped into the hallway. They looked at each other. This stays between us, Chloe said. Completely. I mean it. I know. She started to close the door, then stopped. Ricky. Yeah. Thanks. For not being weird about this. I'm being extremely weird about this. Chloe smiled. You know what I mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. The door closed softly. Jordan stood in the hallway staring at Unit 403. His phone buzzed one more time. New milestone approaching. 25%. Increased interaction comfort. Continue current behavior pattern for optimal results. Jordan walked back to Unit 404 and locked himself inside. His apartment was clean. His face had $60 worth of skincare on it. His hair looked intentional instead of like a cry for help. And his OnlyFans crush lived next door. Jordan lay down on his couch and stared at the ceiling. Today had been the longest day of his life and it wasn't even 6 p.m. yet. Traori's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face. Jordan sprawled across his couch and pulled out his phone. The system interface glowed soft gold against his face. Heart with ribbon cashback system. Active connections. Chloe Kim round pushpin. Chemistry 20%. Return rate 0.4x. Last interaction 14 minutes ago. Empty slot. Unlock. Reach 75% chemistry. Current progress 20/75. Account summary. Balance $1,410.29. Quest tickets 18 ticket. Active quests 1. 20%. Jordan stared at the number. She'd gone from 8% at lunch to 20% after he sat on her couch and made awkward conversation for 15 minutes. That's a 12% jump in like 6 hours. Jordan opened his quest screen. Daily quest, path to becoming Adonis. System note, initial parameters adjusted to prevent user mortality. Objectives, E. Physical. Log 90 minutes of physical activity. E. Hygiene level 1. Shower using actual soap. E. Hygiene level 2. Brush teeth for a full 2 minutes. Floss. E. Grooming. Apply basic skincare, Washington moisturize. Sunscreen. E. Social. Speak to 3 different beauties for 2 minutes each. Requirement. Maintain eye contact. Do not apologize for existing. Do not offer to buy them anything. Progress. February 3rd beauties contacted. Warning. Restriction active. Axe body spray is permanently banned. Rewards. Full stamina recovery. 3 quest tickets, admission tickets. Jordan sat up. His body felt fine now. No soreness. No exhaustion. Like the 5 hours of cleaning had never happened. Weird. He checked the time. 6:23 p.m. Most restaurants would be serving dinner crowds. Coffee shops would be closing soon. Campus dining halls were probably packed with students who actually attended their classes. I need to talk to one more girl for 2 minutes without buying her anything. Jordan's brain immediately supplied an image of Chloe sitting on her couch with her knees pulled up, looking at him like he was a puzzle she couldn't figure out. Nope, absolutely not. She literally just told you to pretend she doesn't exist. He could knock on her door again. Ask to borrow eggs this time. Mix up the excuse. Jordan slapped himself across the face. The sting cleared his head. Stop it. She's an OnlyFans girl. You paid $3,000 to sit across from her for 45 minutes. You've spent $2,000 more over 6 months watching her take her clothes off on the internet. Do not get attached to a transaction. His cheek throbbed. Jordan stood up and walked to the bathroom. His reflection looked back at him with a red handprint on his left cheek and $60 worth of skincare making his face glow under the overhead light. You're pathetic. No. Old Jordan was pathetic. New Jordan just needs to talk to one more girl and then he gets 3 quest tickets and full stamina recovery, whatever that means. Jordan left the bathroom and grabbed his keys. He needed to go somewhere public. Somewhere with people. Somewhere that wasn't Unit 403. His phone buzzed. Mom. Honey, your father told me you called. I'm so proud of you. Can we FaceTime tonight? I want to see your face. Jordan typed back quickly. Jordan. Can we do it tomorrow? I'm really tired tonight. Long day. Mom. Of course, sweetie. Get some rest. Love you so much. Jordan pocketed his phone and headed for the door. The hallway outside his apartment was empty. Unit 403's door stayed closed. No sounds came from inside. Good. Jordan took the stairs down to the lobby because waiting for the elevator felt like tempting fate. The building's main entrance opened onto the street where his Honda Civic sat, parked 3 spaces down from another white Civic that definitely belonged to Chloe. He drove without a destination. Just away from the building. Away from the temptation to knock on that door again and say something stupid like, "Hey, I know you told me to leave you alone, but I really enjoyed talking to you, and also your apartment smells like vanilla, and I can't stop thinking about the freckles on your nose." Jordan merged onto Pacific Coast Highway and let the traffic carry him north. Streetlights flickered on as the sun dropped toward the ocean. His gas tank read half full. He had $1,400 in his account. 3 quest tickets wouldn't be earned until he completed this social objective. A target appeared on his right. Jordan pulled into the parking lot and killed the engine. Target. Full of people. Full of employees. Probably full of college girls buying snacks and cheap furniture for their dorms. He walked through the automatic doors into bright fluorescent lighting and the smell of popcorn from the in-store Starbucks. The store buzzed with activity. Families pushing carts. Couples browsing electronics. A group of teenage girls giggling near the makeup section. Jordan headed toward the back of the store where fewer people congregated. He passed through home goods, then sporting goods, then found himself in the book section staring at a wall of bestsellers he'd never read. A voice spoke behind him. "Can I help you find something?" Jordan turned. A girl about his age stood there wearing a red Target vest over a white shirt. Her name tag read Maya. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Brown eyes behind black-framed glasses. Average height. Cute in that approachable way that made her easy to talk to. Perfect. Yeah, actually, Jordan said. I'm looking for a book. Maya smiled. You're in the right section. No, I mean like a specific book. For a class. Which class? Jordan's brain scrambled. What classes did he even take? Math 31B. Econ 2. Management 1A. Sociology 1. Sociology, Jordan said. We're supposed to read something about social structures. Maya tilted her head. Do you remember the author? Not really. My professor just mentioned it in passing and I forgot to write it down. What's the professor's name? Delgado. Maya pulled out her phone and tapped the screen a few times. Professor Delgado teaches at Pacific Crest, right? Yeah. You go there. No. Too expensive. I go to community college and work here part-time. Maya scrolled through her phone. Let me check the syllabus online. Sometimes professors post them publicly. She moved closer so Jordan could see her screen. She smelled like coffee and something floral. Probably lotion from the beauty section. Jordan glanced at her profile. Nice jawline. Clear skin. The glasses worked for her. Stop it. You're here to complete a quest, not rate every girl you meet. Maya's eyebrows pulled together. I'm not seeing anything. Are you sure it was Delgado? Pretty sure. What's your major? Business econ. Then why are you taking sociology? General education requirement. Maya nodded. That makes sense. Most of those classes assign pretty generic textbooks though. You could probably find it in your campus bookstore. Yeah, probably. Silence fell between them. Maya looked at Jordan expectantly. Jordan looked back. Say something. 2 minutes. You need 2 minutes of conversation. So you work here full-time? Jordan asked. Part-time. 20 hours a week. I'm trying to save money for when I transfer to a 4-year. Where do you want to transfer? Maybe Pacific Crest if I can get enough financial aid. Maybe Cal State Long Beach if I can't. Pacific Crest is cool. Expensive, but cool. Maya laughed. That's what everyone says. Cool but expensive. It's basically Disneyland for rich kids who want to pretend they're getting an education. Do you like it there? Jordan considered the question. Did he like Pacific Crest? He'd spent most of his first semester hiding in his apartment and throwing money at a girl who didn't know he existed. He'd skipped half his classes. He'd eaten nothing but delivery food and energy drinks. I don't know yet, Jordan said honestly. I kind of wasted my first semester. Bad grades. Bad everything. Maya studied his face. You seem like you're doing okay now. Today's the first day I've done anything productive in like 2 weeks. What changed? Jordan thought about the system. About the golden interface tracking his every move. About Chloe sitting on her couch telling him not to be weird. About his father's voice on the phone saying he was proud. New year, new me, Jordan said. Maya smiled. That's a good reason. Jordan checked his phone. 6:41 p.m. He'd been talking to Maya for 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Quest complete. Thanks for the help, Jordan said. I'll check the bookstore. No problem. Good luck with your classes. Jordan walked away before his brain could supply any more honest answers to personal questions. He headed for the exit, weaving between carts and displays. His phone buzzed the moment he stepped outside. Confetti Ball Daily Quest completed. Confetti Ball. Path to becoming Adonis. All objectives complete. Reward, 3 quest tickets. Full stamina recovery applied. Total tickets, 21 admission tickets. Gotcha available. Spend 10 tickets? Jordan stopped walking. The parking lot stretched out in front of him. His Civic sat 30 feet away under a streetlight. Full stamina recovery. He felt good. Better than good. Like his body had reset to factory settings. No aches, no tiredness. Just clean energy running through every muscle. The system actually works. Jordan climbed into his car and sat there staring at his phone. 21 quest tickets. The gotcha system cost 10 tickets for a bronze pull. He opened the gacha interface. Slot machine gacha system. Ticket costs. Bronze gacha, 10 tickets. Silver gacha, 50 tickets. Gold gacha, 100 tickets. Platinum gacha, 250 tickets. Milestone rewards only. Available pulls. Bronze, 2 available. Silver, 0 available. Gold, 0 available. Platinum, 0 available. Current balance, 21 tickets. Pull bronze gacha. Jordan's finger hovered over the button. What if it's something useless? What if I waste 10 tickets on like a motivational poster or a coupon for Subway? But what if it's something good? He pressed the button. The screen exploded with light. Gold particles swirled across the display, forming a spinning wheel with various icons. The wheel spun faster and faster, blurring the images together until Jordan couldn't tell what any of them were. The wheel slowed, stopped. Holy shit. Is this really a bronze gacha pull? Traori's thoughts. Hey guys, I decided to make a Power Stone goal for this novel. Every 200 Power Stones this week equals +1 extra chapter. Max 14 chapters. We can have the normal 2 daily chapters plus 2 extra chapters every day. Is all up to you, winky face.